SeatStory Cup 6. I'm Noxious, and with me are Ecop and Zalay for the last match of the day and of the top 16. We're onwards to CfoMlan versus Lifecoach. But before we go there in this repeat match, I want to tell you about the promotion that's going on by Western Digital. I know I have to shout this out again. There's a huge prize, actually, for whoever participates. All you have to do is go to facebook.com/TakeTV, get some details, very easy. You send a tweet on Twitter at anyone, really. As long as you use the hashtag WDGoesSSD, you have a chance of winning this beautiful chest filled with an SSD, an HDD, a portable HDD, and a NAS system. So, just go to Twitter, hashtag WDGoesSSD, post something like a Hearthstone card with a Western Digital reference, whatever the case may be, something that amuses you and has something to do with the contest at hand. Just head on to
Dang, those are some sick prizes, Noxious. I gotta ask, can I win those?
No.
Never lucky.
Oh, Zalay.
Zalay's like, I've got this joke and I need to just find a way to play
The
it.
most forced joke ever. Congrats.
I'm
more
so proud
forced,
of
the
myself
better.
right now. God, I'm a good caster.
You're great.
Thank you.
Honestly, like, cringe is actually an angle you can use on comedy shows.
If you go hard enough.
Yeah, like, if you go halfway, it's really cringe, but if you go all the way cringe, people are like, I appreciate this cringe.
You say that, but I've seen some Hearthstone interviews that were all the way cringe.
But was it intentional, though?
No.
Yeah, there we go, see?
No.
That's a huge difference, is when it's intentional, you can really cringe your way out of a bad situation. Anyway, CfoMlan versus Lifecoach, it's a repeat of the match that we had earlier. CfoMlan took it over Lifecoach by very little, honestly. It was a 2-0 at the beginning, then Lifecoach came back, equalized the series, and then lost his last match to CfoMlan's deck. So the Warrior from CfoMlan had a really good run against Lifecoach, and I have no doubt that we'll see the same bans happen. The Priest from CfoMlan will probably be banned, and on the side of Lifecoach, I believe the Rogue, not the Rogue, but the
Shaman?
The Shaman was banned, so CfoMlan doesn't want to face off against that.
Yeah, I know Lifecoach was mostly intending to ban Reno Lock with his lineup, meaning he probably has a bunch of weapon destruction for the non-Reno Lock classes, and so banning Priest makes sense, again, to maximize the impact of his weapon destruction cards.
All right, looks like we're looking at a Dragon Warrior. I'm looking at the same mulligan from both hands, so surely something's wrong with the capture, but apparently we're spectating.
This is probably
Lifecoach's
Lifecoach's hand, because he's got 2 Twilight Drakes in his Priest, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody's not spectating the right area.
Twilight Drakes are pretty sick in Priest in general.
Yeah?
It is a little bit meta dependent, but when you need, in general, you need a good 4-drop in Priest. You can't just rely on Twilight Guardians alone.
Yeah, that's not enough. You need at least a 3rd 4-drop and maybe a 4th.
So
right?
if you gear your deck more towards against aggro, then Defender of Argus is a nice choice. But and if you want to be more proactive, then Twilight Drake is really strong as well.
Twilight Drake can be better against aggro. If you just assume that aggro is like playing patches and weapons, they're clearing your board all the time, so you don't have stuff to put the Argus buff on, whereas Twilight Drake can actually like come into play. And it's sort of Twilight Drake's sort of a safety card where if you have a weak early game, it's a strong mid-game play to help you maybe catch back up and get back into it.
It'll survive a few turns, right, against aggro?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, you don't want it to survive too many turns because then they're just smorking you to death.
Yeah, I guess if you give them
you
the Twilight Drake...
you know?
I think it gives them a good excuse, actually, to start smorking once you drop those high-health minions they just can't deal with. Then they realize they have to go even further all in.
Yeah, you got to find the balance.
That's certainly not in patches.
So double Talon Priest. 3/4 is a pretty good size against Dragon Warrior because Dragon Warrior likes to do 3 damage with cards like Fiery Warax, Alexstrasza Champion, Twilight Guardian, Blackwing Corruptor. So that 4th health is worth an awful lot.
Yeah, in that spot, Ecop, do you think he's going to go for the coin Talon Priest into Talon Priest since he has to get on board?
Yeah, I would imagine so, unless he draws a really nice 2-drop here. Rumor's Agent, for example, which has 4 health as well, would be pretty nice to buff. But yeah, Talon Priest into Talon Priest definitely reasonable.
Yeah. Let's make the Twilight Drake quite a bit smaller, but probably worth it, right? You got to play for today.
Twilight Drake is still going to be a Yeti at least, so it's still fine.
I mean, you can always use the Powered Shield if you pick up another play and just heal something instead of developing on the board. If your Talon Priests are buffed in health and are not dead, there is an argument to be made for just keeping them healthy and getting good value trades. Since the biggest thing that's going to come out on 4 is usually going to be a Twilight Guardian, and they line up pretty well against that.
So, decision point here for CfoMlan. He can Fiery Warax or Alexstrasza Champion. Alexstrasza Champion pushes 3 face damage, but it does have some vulnerability to something like a Coin Talon Priest.
Yeah, and you do need to find Blood Acre. Yeah.
Right. The Talon Priest can't trade into Fiery War Axe, but it can trade into Alexstrasza's Champion is
Yeah.
the difference.
I still like the play. I think with no information at all, you'd rather have this set up in case of a Warmest Agent, for instance, unless you expect it to be coined systematically. There have been a few hands that I've seen as Dragon Priest where you really want to be going, turn 3 coin 4-drop into 4-drop or coin, 5-drop into 5-drop. So keeping the coin in the event that you have a Warmest Agent is often still correct.
Right. I like the coin Talon Priest even more than I did before the Alexstrasza Champion came out. I like having that threat of a value trade.
Yeah. So what's your biggest fear here if you're on Lifecoach's side?
Well, if you make the play too quickly, you give some information away about your hand that you don't have other options that are reasonable to consider. So he's kind of disguising his hand by thinking through a turn that could be considered obvious.
Yeah, but then again, when you do stuff like that, then maybe your opponent expects it. Like when you do this on a regular basis, I think you have to mix it up sometimes. Just sometimes play it fast and basically conceal the information that way as well.
Yeah, there's something to be said about Lifecoach just having a consistent line of, I guess, time-taking at this rate where you just don't really know what's in his hand. Even if it's this most straightforward play of your life, it's still something that he evaluates pretty strongly. So.
Yeah, he was thinking through things like maybe Ravaging Ghoul, Frothing Berserker.
I mean, Ravaging Ghoul,
mana cards. Ichor or Fiery War Axe is the nightmare, but we can see Kamlan does not have the Blood Ichor. So Frothing in face. Now, Potion of Madness would be pretty interesting here. Would it do anything great?
You
couldn't
couldn't really use it that way, yeah.
Yeah, if you bump the Frothing first, you can't Potion anymore. If you don't, then the Frothing's not actually dying.
I wish you could play Instance, right? Instant spells, Potion of Madness, just before the attack gets buffed, comes to your side, then gets buffed. You smash it into the minion. Cabal Talon Priest, like back-to-back, without being answered, really represent a huge threat to Kamlan's board state, and that's pretty much what the matchup comes down to. Yes, you can be aggressive with a Warrior, more so with that list since he's running the Arcanite Reaper and double upgrade, but it's still a really inefficient way to play the game, just going full face against a Priest.
Sure, so Kamlan's got 4 mana to work with here. He can Twilight Guardian on curve, that seems like the play. Or X doesn't make any sense.
Kamlan throwing up his arms, something's wrong.
Interesting. So, you gotta think he's gonna play the Twilight Guardian and trade into the wounded 3/4 rather than the healthy one, because the wounded one has potential to be healed up to a higher health total. Higher life total? I don't know the words for it.
I'd say a higher health total, yeah, in Hearthstone.
Okay.
I think players restore health anyway. It's all health.
Now, when you play Twilight Guardian against the Priest, you gotta have the card Shadowed Pain on your mind. 2 mana answer to your 4 mana card feels bad, but he just doesn't have options to play around it. He's gotta hope for the best kind of thing.
Yeah, I think at this point you're really committed to just protecting that Frothing, hoping you get some value. Do you go for the value
Pretty
trade?
much
I imagine you.
Oh yeah, 100% go for the value.
You have no choice really but to go for the value trade. Because if you don't, you're really just getting more and more punished by this board getting bigger. So I like that play.
The reason to not go for value trades is if you expect like some sort of small damage, Holy Nova or the Blocking Corruptor, but of course still 1 mana away from that. So as long as there's nothing like that available to the Priest, you can go for those value trades.
Yeah. Even if those plays were available, I think you would still take that value trade. I think it's still worth.
Yeah, because you force them to have it as well.
Yeah, and those plays just aren't very strong.
All right, so 2 lines of play are kind of obvious here, right? You've got the Northshire Cleric, I heal, I draw a card, I play Powered Shield, or the Twilight Drake as a bigger minion you can develop on the board. Those are kind of the 2 obvious lines of play. What do you think sets up best for possibly his turn 5?
So turn 5 would be Blackwing Corruptor and Azure Drake, which you can see Kamlan does actually have both. The Twilight Drake is the play that immediately stands out to me, but it's actually quite weak on this board because it just trades with a Frothing Berserker. That said, the Northshire Cleric, drawing cards isn't what you want in the early game. You want tempo, you want board presence, right? You want to have as much stuff out there as possible, and you want to minimize the amount of stuff your opponent has. So I'm inclined to Twilight Drake. What do you think you got?
You also have to consider, though, if you go for the Twilight Drake, it's the last dragon in your hand, so maybe that's something you want to hold on to.
Yeah, the Blackwing Corruptor. And wow, Powered Shield super rewarded.
Yeah, picks up an answer to the Frothing Berserker. It might be needed at later point in the game where you need to kill a Draconic Crusher, but for the time being, it might still work out. Now, Lifecoach does lose out on the opportunity to get the trade with a 3/6.
He does not want to make that trade. If he makes that trade, his opponent can trade back, and then there's no target there for the Blackwing Corruptor to shoot at the following turn.
I feel like he was dragging this, right? I saw the arrow go up. Maybe it was unintentional.
I think he thought about it, but
Okay.
he realized that, you know, he doesn't want that.
Split-second reaction time.
By holding off on the attack, he's in a better position because he denies his opponent the option to, like, play around Blackwing Corruptor.
Sure, that's good. You know, I look at this voting bar on the left, and I'm like, how cute could we make this by making the wrong call and just saying one player is arguably just gonna win this? How far could we push that bar? Like, how
Interesting
far could
question.
we push this? That's an experiment I want to run one day. Not today, though.
Biased voting, I disapprove.
Man, what a mirror match. Both players just like have the same number of cards in hand. They're making the same play. Blackwing Corruptor on 5, killing your Twilight Guardian.
But here's a card that can be game-changing at some stage of the game, and that is the Draconid Operative. A lot of the cards that both players play kind of share the same pool, right? Dragons, dragon-enabling cards, anything that has to do with dragon theme is present in both decks, and so there's going to be something Lifecoach wants for sure from Camlin at some point.
Oh, yeah. And with Dragonid Operative, there's always things you want for sure. But you're right, there's, in particular, synergy. It's not just a good card, it's a good card that actually has synergy with your deck in this case. So, I want to ask you, Ecop, who do you think's favored in Dragon Priest versus Dragon Warrior?
Well, it really depends a little bit on the, of course, how the players draw, how well they fill their curve, but it also depends a little bit on the warrior's build. For example, there's some warriors which have more 4 attack minions than usual. Like if you have a lot of 4 attack minions, the curator build comes to mind, of course. That's something that Priest might struggle with more than a warrior that has more 3 attack minions, for example, with his Bloodsail Cultist as well.
Yeah, I know that Camlan plays the double upgrade Arcanite Reaper, which is a very interesting choice because oftentimes you have either the full-on pirate aggro with Moral Strikes, and we saw Eloise play bashes and whatnot, but oftentimes when you mix pirates with dragons, you kind of forego the upgrade, the Arcanite Reaper, and you just stick to tempo, mid-range, board control, and Camlan's played kind of a hybrid of all these things together, playing the Reaper and the double upgrade, cutting the blood to Ikers, which he doesn't deem are valuable, which is interesting because they help so much ping off minions with the board control you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, it's quite complicated. I want to say, so Ecop mentioned 4 attack minions. The reason 4 attack minions are so good against Priest is because Priest has cards like Shadowed Pain, Shadowed Death, and Bookworm, and none of those interact with the 4 attack minions. So that's what he was saying. So Twilight Guardian contests these 3 health minions very efficiently. It's looking to trade with a Ravaging Ghoul and a Fiery War Axe. Maybe it's not very efficient, it's just reasonably efficient.
Camlan's really far ahead on the board, though, I feel. Lifecoach is, he's got good cards in hand, but they're not on the board yet, and his health total is getting to the point where if you stack enough stuff on the board, 2 turns is all it takes to kill the Priest. So I think at this point, Camlan's got a good opportunity to develop very strongly with the 6-drop, even though it may not be enabled as a 9/9, right?
Yeah, it's
Right.
a little bit awkward here.
It's one off.
1 damage off enabling this Dragon Crusher, but still, Dragon Crusher here, just the 6/6 stats alone would be pretty nice as well. After all, Shadow Word Death has been played already on a very low value target with the Frothing Berserker. I mean, he was forced to do it, kind of. But
Right, it was the right play. It's just kind of awkward that he
there's
had
just
to do
way
it.
better targets. That's the problem.
Yeah, it dealt 1 damage. That was kind of awkward, but Camlan went for the Drake and picked up a 2-drop as a reward, and now his opponent's down to 13, and the clock is on for Lifecoach.
Yeah, how does Lifecoach ever recover here? He's facing down 3 minions. His AoE does not clear that stuff.
Nether Spite into Twilight Guardian comes to mind. That might be one of the routes you explore.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like the
Twilight-
only route, actually. I don't see much else.
And the Twilight Guardian doesn't even really help you catch up that much. Like, it kills off the Alexstrasza champion and wounds the Azure Drake, and 5 more, I'm going to say, pound damage coming in. Usually they say chip damage, but in this case, it's a pretty large amount. 5 out of 13.
Then you do get to trade the Nether Spite Historian with the Holy Nova, at least for the remainder of the 5/3. Now, the issue is, how do you deal with the Draconic Crusher? You have to top deck the 2nd Shadow Word Death, or you're pretty much down to 2 health, and that is kind of the end of it. So, Lifecoach is going to make his mind up in the next few moments.
Is there some kind of Hail Melee Draconid Operative? Like, what if he Draconid Operatives into the 2nd Alexstrasza champion, trades that into Blackwing Corruptor? That'd be...
I feel like he opened up with Alexstrasza champion on turn 2.
Oh,
and
that's 2 of them now?
I think that both of them have been played,
I
yeah.
think you're right. Fiery War Axe, they're one of those. You're kind of dying, though.
You would die, I believe, right? Since the board represents 12,
12,
you'd be
it's
1
1
off of death.
Technically not dead.
All right, so I guess we're going to go for the board control play. Let's go and hope there's no more damage coming out from the hand. And that should be
There's
it.
3 more. Yeah, that's exactly lethal.
Yep. Kamlan takes the first game.
Yeah, Kamlan's Warrior is kind of the bane of Lifecoach, on the openers at the very least, right? Like, Lifecoach did open up with the Dragon Priest in the first series. Kamlan took it. And now we're getting a repeat of the same opener. Now, it depends what Lifecoach ends up doing as the follow-up play. That's what I want to see.
So this being last hero standing, that means Kamlan is obligated to continue queuing with that Dragon Warrior.
Right.
And Lifecoach gets to choose whatever he wants to try and counter that. It's a big advantage winning the first game in last hero standing because games kind of like alternate who wins. Like the first game, it's fairly even, like you're queuing somewhat randomly. Then the second game, Lifecoach has the advantage because he's choosing the best deck against Dragon Warrior. And then, assuming Lifecoach manages to win that favorable matchup, it goes Kamlan's way, right? He gets to choose the best deck against Lifecoach's counter. And at the end of that, whoever won the first game tends to win the series.
So what do you think about this? This was kind of interesting because we saw that the opener from Kamlan was dragon-based. No patches, no pirates, nothing crazy on the aggression side, no Arcanite Reaper, no upgrade. So that whole portion of his deck didn't matter at all. And it really came down to just the dragon package. It's almost as though Dragon Priest is better suited to handle the patches package, right? With the Warmest Agent, with the Nether Sprite Historian that they can sometimes chip at.
Yeah.
They've got the Shadow Word Pain. So if they never play that, are you just a little bit unfavored if it really goes down to a dragon versus dragon?
Well, technically against the Dragon package, the Shadow Word Pains and stuff like that can be really good as well. What was the deciding factor in this particular game, though, was the Frothing Berserker. It just, the value trade that it provided against the Talon Priest, it was really amazing. And it was so hard to deal with because it was hiding behind that Twilight Guardian on the following turn. So Lifecoach was forced into a very awkward turn, not properly filling his curve. Was forced to use the Shadow Word Death, a high value removal that you want to against Dragonite Crushers. So therefore, this was basically what turned the game around in Kamlan's favor.
Yeah, the 3-mana Frothing Berserker traded for a 3-mana Shadow Word Death and a 3-mana Talon Priest, right? So a 3-mana and 1 card traded for 6 mana and 2 cards, and an advantage of 3 mana and a card. Absurd advantage.
Right, and when you're looking at it from the perspective of both the decks playing a similar tempo play, right, of all being dragons, who cost approximately the same across the board. All right, onwards to the next game. Lifecoach is going to be bringing out the Shaman up against Kamlan's Warrior. Again, we now see the Pirate package coming out from Kamlan. There is still a lot of aggression in this deck, and Lifecoach's deck is a bit more on the mid-range side.
I have no idea why Kamlan is looking across to us.
There seems to be some issue, maybe. So Lifecoach has Deckhand, which generally indicates it's an aggro shaman. But I do believe there's a little bit more to it. I think it may have hexes and be kind of somewhere riding line between aggro and mid-range.
Yeah, he doesn't play Lava Burst. Instead, he settled on the Hex. There are no 4-mana 7/7s either. Instead, the Azure Drakes are run. So it's a very hybridized build between aggro and mid-range without going full either way.
So Deckhand pulling patches. It's weak to an Azot's first mate. It's very strong against nothing because there's Flame Tongue as follow-up. Turn 1, 2 minions, turn 2 Flame Tongues.
Whew. All right, we've got the upgrade that can be used to buff up the Buccaneer if that's needed later on. Do you just Alex Strauss as champion in a spot like this, or does Jade Claws come to mind as a worry?
I think you Buccaneer pulling patches and you coin upgrade, and that clears both minions and leaves you with a Flame Imp and a 1/2 weapon.
I like that. It also protects you against Flame Tongue Totem from the patches being left on board, assuming the 1/2 minion would be on the board. So
yeah, it's
I
turn
quite
1.
like that.
Kamlan has pretty much a decisive advantage here.
Yeah, in
really
truth,
strong follow-up.
the upgrade kind of plays like an Azaz's first mate in that spot.
Yeah, just a really bad first mate, good enough.
Yeah. Kamlan's pondering if it's worth it. I feel like it is, but you are skipping a beat on turn 3, and skipping turns in this type of deck can be a bit difficult.
Right, but turn 3 is multiple turns away, so he's got 2 draws to find something to do, and also he's pulling so far ahead on turns 1 and 2 that even if turn 3 is a bit of a disaster, it's looking pretty good for him.
I mean, there's so many people in the background just enjoying the evening. It's 1 a.m. here. Like, everything's
Yeah, to be
ongoing.
fair, I've witnessed a lot of SeatStory Cups, all of them actually, and this is the most I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was noticing the same thing.
It's insane, right?
This place is packed.
This is
packed
great.
to the brim.
I love that.
And also, I think that's got to be correlated with the first thing I noticed when I walked in is like, wow, this place is nice. Like, they've been upgrading it over the years from month to month.
Yeah, I really like it. The one thing that's kind of a bummer is a lot of the pros hang out downstairs because we have the poker table downstairs, so they tend to play a little bit there.
Well, and all the computers.
All the computers, they want to play Overwatch and Hearthstone a lot. Oh, looks like some of the players are having connectivity issues at the moment. Oh, hence the camera's on us, actually. I hadn't noticed, but...
Okay.
The camera is a little bit tilted.
All right, guys.
It's like, this is triggering me.
You're
I need
triggered?
to scoot over to Zelay right here.
Oh, yeah.
We're all center like... we're your harem,
This
Zelay.
is like the...
This is the life. I like this.
Yeah.
This is pretty
Hearthstone.
Kappa Pride, though, I'll be frank.
You saying that like it's a bad thing?
Mm.
Thank you, Ecop. Okay. So,
All right, I'm not
getting-
married anymore.
a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, that's fine, it's fine.
Of course, drag us in, then throw us out. You're like every single one of them.
One of who?
Well, never mind.
Okay,
I said
okay.
nothing of the sort.
Yeah, no. Careful.
There was a game ongoing, though, but it got shut down by connectivity issues. I think they'll have to rematch that one. Hopefully nothing happened during the first game that went too wrong and one of the decisions didn't work out.
This is quite interesting. Camlin's taking his turn 2. Lifecoach skipped his turn 2. So you imagine they're going to regame.
Yeah.
Which for Camlin has to feel pretty bad. Says quite a favorable opener for him.
Time to check out more of these buttons right here.
SeatStory Cup. SeatStory Cup.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, you have time now. Okay, does the me mode work?
The meme mode.
Yeah, the me mode.
Show him
Show the me mode.
The meme mode. It's a buzz remote, but
for memes.
for
No,
memes.
yeah, it's for memes.
It doesn't work right now.
It
apparently.
doesn't work.
Dan's game.
They shut down the me mode.
Never lucky.
Say what?
They turned it on. Oh.
All right.
Can you feel it?
All right, we're getting the me mode on. Gara is running up against the wall right... Gara! Just running up against
That's
nothing.
so good.
I think this is better though. The soundboard, the Frodan soundboard. is pretty
Frodan's
big,
voice
pretty
is just something else, right?
Yeah.
Just like, you have to love it.
big. We miss you dearly.
Say what?
That's racist.
We miss it dearly. Why? Why do you love my voice so much? That's racist. Speaking of...
Racism?
That's not the segue I was going to go to, but like fun memes on that topic. We had Kevik earlier on the couch casting with RDU.
Casting couch?
On the casting couch with myself and Nerdu.
Nice black leather casting couch, too.
I love
really
it.
appreciate it.
That's above average.
It's the original one. Now,
Nice,
one of the things that we learned is that his actual last name is Chan Lee. And I could not believe
That's racist.
how Asian that was. And that was so awesome.
That's above average.
No, you have to find the right one for that
Oh
one.
yeah.
Just
where
keep
was the
pressing
racist one?
You pressed it.
You good luck. I mean,
Damn it.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
no, that's something you should have played when you had both of us in your arms.
Yeah.
Who's a good boy? And he kind of just purrs like it's the best thing that's ever happened to him. That was good. Good moment.
Loving it.
So, some
Best.
slight technical difficulties.
You can
I'm
see
gonna
our
blame the
technicians
Hearthstone
very
servers
hard
for
at
this.
work right now.
I don't think this is our fault. I'm going to blame Blizzard for this one.
I'm going to say that...
The playful sprites are back at it again.
Oh my god, the playful sprites this patch.
Yeah, playful sprites are... I have a big issue right now loading Hearthstone
Me
sometimes.
too.
Where like I
Same.
load up and then if I dare click elsewhere, it just blacks the screen.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, if you don't touch the mouse, it actually loads fine. But if you dare like click anything, it's just dead. You're never loading those.
Okay, because
Yeah.
what I noticed is I didn't know why, but it crashes the first time every single time
Every
I try to
single
load
time,
Hearthstone.
That was interesting to me.
Please fix.
Yeah, please.
I mean, it'll be
Oh
fixed.
my god. Oh my god.
It's never fixed. Every single patch.
Never lucky.
Never.
I'll just use that one. That's all I need.
It's so applicable to everything.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
It's just kind of the most universal one on this one. I mean, there's the mom spaghetti one. That's not bad either.
Which
We
one
find
is
it?
That's Hearthstone.
Nope.
That's the good one.
SeatStory Cup. SeatStory Cup. Is anyone member of the in crowd?
I remember.
I remember.
The in crowd. I remember
I
that.
remember.
Oh my god. Can we
Feels
talk
bad.
about the in crowd a little bit?
Well, I literally cannot.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's this Tempo Storm cartoon.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
Now he's like, I remember that. Let me run away from it. No, it was actually like the concept of it was good. I think the execution was like a little bit subpar though.
Well, executing things
The
is
voice,
tricky.
the voice actors just sucked. You know.
Voice
Who were
actors.
these guys anyway?
Shots fired.
Who were the voice actors?
It was you know who. You know who. Okay.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Where's okay? Wait, it's this one. I'm calling it.
Never lucky.
That was
Why would you rotate it? Like, just making things harder on us, man.
Oh my god. Oh
Where's
my
Mom Spaghetti, dude? I was
Turn
playing it
upside
all
down,
day.
man.
Well, what's upside down?
Greetings, friend.
Oh, that was Ben Broad, right?
No.
I have a 100-word essay due on Monday, and I haven't even started.
The memes.
So many.
Do you believe in life after love?
That's a song.
I know. Bye.
Yeah. Person. Multiple people.
No. It's one. It's
Cher.
one very heavily auto-tuned person.
Oh,
It just goes like it sounds like there's multiple tones going in, but it's just one very auto-tuned individual.
Auto-tune's a great.
It's the ancestor of T-Pain.
Raven, it's not shaman.
Dude, I should have totally used this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Top deckin' and wreckin'.
Jackie Chan says shaman too.
Who made these?
Like,
I don't know, but the fact that they didn't identify them makes it all like such a wasted opportunity because we
Yeah.
could find the
hard to
perfect
use.
one
Yeah.
at the perfect time and have Frodan's
You just have to
angelic
memorize.
voice.
You just have to memorize them all, right?
Praise Yog.
Oh, there's no Yogg. That was probably recorded
Never
a while
Yogg.
back.
Yeah, this must
Does
be. Old.
anyone remember the in-crowd?
Okay.
I have a 100-word, and he goes for the face.
So I'm trying to figure out like I have Mom Spaghetti on there.
There is
Where
it, right?
is it?
Where is it?
All right,
Find
let's
it.
do all
Do
of
you
them.
believe those spicy memes?
Not this next one either.
NA best region, Eligiggle,
Just trying to
top
dodge.
deckin' and... Are you kidding me? Whew. Hell yeah.
These sound so forced.
God, this fucking soundboard is so overused.
All right.
And we're done with
okay,
that.
wait. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
done. I'm
Last
done.
one, last one.
Froden, you're right.
Who's a good boy? That's about average.
Said last one. You're gonna press another one, aren't you, Noxious? You can't help yourself.
God, this fucking soundboard is
There
so
we go.
overused.
Where is it?
Let's talk about
This one.
Hearthstone.
Maybe. No, because he cops into everything.
Literally.
Woo! Hell
strange.
For
yeah.
real, it was there earlier. Somebody changed. I'm sure the production's messing with me right now.
Yeah.
They're definitely messing up with me. They rotate?
Do they now? No, they don't.
Do they really rotate?
Maybe.
Never Lucky was always the same space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
this one.
Never lucky.
They don't rotate.
Some rotate.
Some
rotate,
rotate.
I
That's a
guess.
These
puzzle.
production guys are so troll.
That's racist.
Group thematically, they don't rotate.
Do
Okay.
you believe in life after
Honestly,
love?
though, like, on this topic, do you believe in life after love? I figure we might as well talk about it since it was asked.
What does it even mean?
It doesn't make any sense.
I like that
I
question.
mean, I do believe, but
How would there not be life after love?
exactly.
What do you mean by either of these terms?
Well, I mean, in one sense, life is directly a result of love, right?
not necessarily, but one of the things I'm asking is like, do you mean life as in the biological system or just...
I don't think life in any way ends or ceases to exist as a result of love.
I'm pretty sure there was a life before love, so
Yes.
there's going to be life after love as well.
That's
That's a fallacy,
That's
though.
not good logic.
Yeah, that's a fallacy. It doesn't follow that that's going to be true. But, I mean, it's plausible. It's a plausible conclusion.
It's not like life can't exist without love.
Right, that's a good start to the argument. But I don't think it follows that life will exist after love because it existed before it.
I'm with you on this one, Noxious.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's talk about Hearthstone and the decks in this tournament.
I think I'm good to fill. I don't know about you guys.
No.
No?
But I'm pretty filled. I had some pretty good gyros.
Production was like, all right, guys, if you want to just go on break right now, we totally can. But if you can fill, you can keep filling. And I'm like, I'm fine. I just keep memeing. And Zilay's like, nope. All right, then. Ecop, do we vote to keep this on and make Zilay uncomfortable? Or shall we move on?
I'm pretty good at filling.
Okay, so we'll keep filling then. We're talking about life after love. You want to talk about Hearthstone decks in this tournament, so I'm down for that converation. You
Yeah.
started. You initiated? Go
Freeze
ahead.
Mage is kind of the surprise deck of the tournament. Maybe it's not too much of a surprise because, so like the tournaments that were last year standing leading into this were kind of won by the Dragon Warrior, Dragon Priest, Reno Lock, Shaman.
Shaman as well,
right?
yeah.
And with banning Reno Lock kind of thing. So you see that Priest, you see that Reno Lock, and you start thinking Rogue to beat those, right? And old Rogue is also just starting to become discovered on ladder as a top deck.
Top tier deck, yeah.
Yeah. You hear of players, hitting rank 1 legend with it or hitting rank 1 legend on multiple servers with it. So now that people are refining the rogue builds, it's finding some success. And then once you see all of those things, you see that Priest succeeding, you see that Reno Lock succeeding, you see that Rogue succeeding, you think to yourself, what's good against this set of decks? And Freeze Mage pops into mind.
I have another deck to suggest, and that would be Control Shaman, but no one really believes in that archetype for some reason because the typical Shaman builds all tend to have been historically like aggro or mid-range, and no one really explores the Control Shaman, but I think that deck does very well against that set of decks.
I think Zixo brought Control Shaman, and I just watched him get eliminated on the B stream by Show.
I just want to point out that Preparation Wind Fury on a Leroy was pretty dirty.
Yeah, that's a little bit disgusting. I mean, Wind Fury and Rogue is just really strong because the synergy with Cold Blood is absurd, right?
That was so bad. I mean, like, his face was priceless.
Yeah.
He was looking at this like, okay, I can't die in this turn probably, right? On average, there's not double prep with the double Cold Blood with everything. And then Leroy comes down with Cold Blood on turn 6, and then out comes Preparation, and Sixel's face goes, WTF, what is this? And then Wind Fury shows down, he just like gives up, just sits up and goes off the set. It was just one of those moments.
So that's where my Leroy went.
Never looked.
It felt so bad though. I looked at him and he's like, he's the champion of Control Shaman in this tournament. Pretty much the only guy that brought it, I think.
Yeah, he fatigued Arena Lock with it, which is, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it works if you keep Haazil for an elemental destruction just before they're about to try to clear up the board for combo. That's the only way you do it, and you have to keep a thing from below to get right behind it to stop the further taunt combo, for instance. Like the further taunt, the combo past the taunt. I'm losing my words. Yeah. It's a pretty cool matchup.
You can have so many taunts in Control Shaman as well. Like, whatever happened to Earth Elemental? Why does no one play that anymore?
Hex happened to Earth Elemental?
Hex?
I mean,
well,
that's kind of just...
Hex in nowadays is not pretty much
diminished in popularity a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Lifecoach and JJ still play it since they think it has more impact than Lava Burst, which in some cases against cards like Twilight Guardian, it's still true. Who is this? All right, frame the guy.
Now he's shy. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, the bunny ears kind of worked out there.
So Hex certainly is more impactful than Lava Burst, unless your opponent's at 5 or less. And then all of a sudden you feel like the Lava Burst is a pretty good card and Hex doesn't actually go face. So that's always the trade-off there, right? Like, our game's more about board control and dealing with big minions and death rattles and those kinds of things? Or is it about finishing them off before they get to that sicko Gadgetzan turn and do whatever?
I feel like Gadgetzan this tournament has been super, like, even more hit or miss than it should be. We've seen so many games of Rogue where, like, the card just doesn't show up. And I feel like that's kind of the reason why more people are straying away from the SI7 list and just sticking to the all-in, so that at least they have, like, 2 paths to making the game work. That's another one of those things with the metagame that I think Rogue is super well rated, but the inconsistency of it still hurts quite a bit.
So there are a few things going on there with what you just said.
Sure, go ahead.
One is Gadget is more hit or miss than in the past, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense because now we have this new card, Counterfeit Coin, I think it's called, the coin basically. And so that's more dead cards in your deck that are great when you have Gadget in play and dead when you don't have a Gadget or a questing. And then the second thing is the questing you were talking about, replacing SI7 Agent. That has a lot to do with people that are bringing Rogue in their lineup tend to be banning Aggro Shaman. And then there's just not that many minion-centric decks left over once they're banning that. And so the combo 2 damage from SI7 isn't killing things as often. They're more interested in having a questing adventurer to kill their opponent. Right, against other rogues, against Reno Locks, against priests, that kind
I mean,
of
just
stuff.
about everything. I mean, the power level of cards, the amount of health they have seems to have just gone crazy this expansion, right? Like, the power level of cards just took a massive shift upwards.
Honestly, I have to say, I don't know why the hell you're talking about hit or miss with Rogue. Nowadays, it's hit or hit. If anything.
Okay, that much.
It's I just watched a match where Rogue did nothing and died.
Either you hit the Gadget. Yes, way. Either you hit the.
No, man.
Either you hit the gadgets along with the spells, or you hit the questing along with the spells, or the other one along with the spells.
Sure.
Like, you will definitely have something to make use out of your spells, right? So it's not like you're never going to draw the exact piece that you need. Back in the day, it was like Gadgetson and Leroy, and that's it. And now it's just much more than that.
Yeah, so I think that's like the Counterfeit Coin's drawback gets balanced exactly by the fact that you play questing instead of SI. Because if you didn't, I think now you'd be hit or missing a ton. Since you couldn't go all in on those turn 3 plays.
Like, then you add Barnes to the mix as well. It's even more. It's just amazing.
Do you favor Barnes and Rogue right now? your favorite?
Me personally, not, but I've seen a lot of people play Barnes and to great success as well. Not just in Maligos Rogue.
Yeah, I saw a guy who got rank 1 legend on NA and EU a few days ago, maybe a week ago now, with a Barnes list, questing, all that.
I feel like the top 1 legend and like the top 10 has been shuffling a lot. Like we've seen even the Cthulhu-Kun combo go there. Top 10 legend just recently,
Top 10,
which is
sure.
yeah, not rank 1 because you have to streak like mad, but just getting top 10 legend with that type of deck just shows how unstable the meta is, right? Because a lot of people probably think this deck has no chance against aggro, but if you find like the right pocket of the meta, you'll get there. Even with a deck like that one, if you face off against a bunch of Reno lock, and I mean, there's so much shaking out to do for the meta game to stabilize, but like I don't expect to see some kind of random zoo deck with a perfect build come out and counter everything. It just I don't know if that's going to happen. That's what I kind of
Zoo
waiting
doesn't
for.
have a lot of room to build
Right.
differently, right? They're kind of stuck with about 28 cards, and they can change 2. And those 2 are not going to change the fact the opponent now has Buccaneer and Patches, and you don't. So you're going to get wrecked with Zoo. It's a bad time.
Can we take a moment to talk about the new priest?
Sure, go
Talk
ahead,
about
man. We're here to fill. Let's
I
fill.
mean, by the new priest, I mean Hunter, which was
Yeah, yeah.
in this tournament.
Yeah, that's
Like, what's up with that? Like, what does Hunter have to do to be viable?
Get better cards.
I mean, honestly,
You think that's the reason?
no, I'll give you.
That's
I'll
always the reason.
give them Lights Justice. I fixed it.
That could actually be the reason. I mean, Hunter has no weapons right now, right?
Yeah.
And
Well-
therefore cannot make as much use as of Patches as
Right.
the other classes can.
Yeah, this is the Patches metagame. I think Patches is the best card in Hearthstone Standard right now.
Yeah.
And Patches and Buccaneer lend themselves towards very aggressive Smorky style decks, and Hunter does not have defense against that. It doesn't have heals. It has like Houndmaster and Animal Companion for taunt.
Terrible traps.
So yeah, it just does. Hunter doesn't have early game plays to keep up with that aggression, and so it just falls behind in the race. And then all of a sudden, its hero power Steady Shot goes from being one of the best in the game to completely useless when you're behind. Steady Shot works when you have a lead on board and you're pushing chip damage and you're kind of like cementing the coffin. Like it allows you to apply pressure without overcommitting into AoE and that sort of thing, right? But when you're behind on board, when you're behind on the race, Steady Shot is 2 mana, darn it, this didn't do anything, I'm still going to lose the race.
Yeah.
So if there was like one card from Wild you could bring back to make Hunter viable right now, what would it be?
Glaive Zuka might help quite a bit. I mean,
I was thinking the same thing.
One of the problems with Glaive Zuka is like it's too off in your deck. You're looking at Shaman, they're running like 4 weapons, very cheap ones, right? The Warrior's running double Nazar's first mate, sometimes upgrade, and then the Fiery War Axe. So even if Hunter got Glaive Zuka, they'd almost need another weapon
They
to
still
play
have
as
the bow.
2
They're up to 4.
The
It's
thing
not
with
as
the
good,
bow
it's a little
is
bit more
it's-
expensive.
Like it's a little bit more expensive, but beyond that, right now in the metagame, the bow kind of does nothing. Like it's almost too slow.
It kills
to really
Alex
do very
Strauss'
much,
champion. It kills the 2/3 dragon Twilight Whelp.
Yeah, the Whelp and, against Priest could
anything
could
Shaman.
die.
It kills Buccaneer. Okay.
Yeah.
It kills a fair amount of stuff.
I mean, I found that right now, a lot of the games that I play, and I've tried Hunter, like this is the reason I've basically not been playing very much of anything, is since the expansion came out, Hunter's kind of the class I've been focusing on the most. I've been trying to make that class work through any means possible. The closest thing to a build that I found was like a double Hyena, double Direwolf with Timberwolf and Unleash, and like, it's so janky. It just feels so awful that you're trying to hand buff. This is the only way you're going to apply pressure that's remotely comparable in scale to the early game. So you need to compensate in the mid game with some cheats. Like you have to cheat a Hyena that's so huge they can't answer it, like Frothing Berserker. But with Alley Cat helping fuel that kind of stuff. But the moment you talk about the bow, that's just even in that deck, it's way too slow. Maybe with the pirate package, I could see it work, but in that archetype, it's unthinkable to have a 3-drop that's not like the Zip Gunner or Rat Pack. It's absurd. I can't even believe how bad the bow's gotten right now.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody's really been playing Hunter, but it's kind of feels bad, man.
I played it for a few games, and I was like, this is awful.
Yeah, it's like, I give up. I'm out of here.
Last time I played Hunter on ladder, I actually killed someone with King Crush out of my main deck.
Yeah,
Reno Lock, right? It's the 1-50-50 matchup. Everything else is unfavorable. But
That's
Reno
exactly
Lock,
what
you
it
can
is.
win maybe even 55% of the time. Sick.
That's what I beat the most. I mean, Dragon Priest, I'm like, turn 1, Twilight Whelp, all right, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
like, okay, Alley Cat, what? What did that do? It's like, what have I done? The closest thing to a good play, though, is when you go first on the play and you play Alley Cat, they
It's
go
a Hyena.
Warmest Agent, Hyena, win. Like, suddenly you're in a good spot, but Like that's a dream setup, which never happens.
It's a cool thing you brought up. Hyena is kind of like a dead, irrelevant card, but this new card, Alley Cat, really enables it in a powerful way and breathes life into an old, somewhat irrelevant card. Kind of like Frothing Berserker right now is one of the powerhouses of Warrior in general.
Yeah, that's
and for a
true.
while there, it was considered unplayable. Like when I was first breaking into the Hearthstone scene, it was like there was Control Warrior, nobody played Frothing Berserker in anything. They were like, this card sucks. And I was like, no, this card's great. It's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it had
Like-
potential, but it took like Patron, I feel, for people to see just how degenerate it could get once you got just a little bit of the ball rolling, right?
Yeah.
Like Frothing in Patron wasn't always a no TK. Sometimes it just grew to like 6 to 7 attack, and people realized, well, that's good enough if you have a deck that can play the Tempo route. And then after the Patron meta, we had Tempo Warrior that came up and tried to keep exploiting that. Bloodhoof Brave came in to reinforce the card, give Warrior some, curve plays that were a bit more consistent. And I think that's the reason we still see Frothing now. We've had like a really good array of minions for Warrior, which is kind of crazy when you think back like a year. I feel like the
2 years.
2 years, like the class was like one archetype, some variations, and we're done. Like
Those were the
it.
good old days.
Yeah, you liked
Control-
it. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have Tank Up just yet, so it wasn't perfect.
Oh God. Oh man, I remember the Nazoth, like the Control Paladin versus Control Warrior matchups, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
let's just make 1/1s for 5 hours.
yeah,
That was
one-
fun.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
fun.
great. It
That
was
was
really
fun.
strategic.
It was a lot more fun for the Paladin player than the Warrior.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Sometimes you could sneak in a kill with Alex Straza and just
Yeah,
somehow you're just like Alex, Grom, kill, okay. But it rarely happened.
yeah, you have a weapon set up, you Alex them down to 15 and hit them with the weapons.
Yep.
They're down to 12 or 11 if it was a Despite.
Yep.
Sometimes I miss Alex Straza, a charge.
That was so
Ooh.
degenerate though. Oh man, talking about some of the old combos that existed.
That was fun times.
Yeah.
Alex Straza, then 0 mana charge, have a Gorehall set up on board.
Yeah.
That was good
Yeah,
times.
I mean, that's the thing now, right? If you get an Emperor discount and you have a Gore Howl set up, then you play Alex Straza them down to 15. You play... Oh, that charge is gone. Yeah, you're right.
The old charge that was 0 and then you could just go full face.
No, well, no, the 3-mana charge worked. Because you discount the 3-mana charge to
Exactly.
2 with Emperor.
With Emperor, and then you could
9-mana
still
Alex
do it.
Straza
Yeah.
to 8 with Emperor. And now your Alex plus charge combo costs 10 mana. And it sets them to 15, charges in for 10, and you have the Gore Howl or even Arcanite
Arcanite Reaper
theoretically,
with-
but
yeah.
no one played that. So, yeah. It was an OTK.
I remember, was Death Wish ever printed in live in the beta, or was that not a card? Did
Sounds
you
like a
guys
good
ever
game.
get to play with Death Wish? Does that ring a bell?
In World of Warcraft trading card
Yeah.
game.
Okay, well, in Hearthstone, it never saw the light of day, or you don't remember it, right?
I don't know what Death Wish is.
That card was replaced by Shield Slam, I think, and it was like a 3-cost card that ate up all your armor, and you got +1 attack per armor eaten.
Oh, snap. No.
We played that in the alpha. It was so ridiculous. It was like, okay, I guess I shield block, Death Wish.
Kill you.
Like you're dead. It was so absurd. I think it had to be cut for that reason. It
Imagine
felt
that
a
with
bit like
patches.
Miracle.
Pretty sure Alex Straza was a good counter to that. Alex Straza back when it shredded armor. When
Yeah.
Control Warrior was not even a counter to Freeze Mage.
Yeah, I
Because
remember
Freeze Mage just beat everything.
Yeah.
Back when Frost Nova was 2 mana, Blizzard was 5 mana, Cone of Cold was 3 mana.
I actually remember the patch that changed all that.
Yeah. Good times.
Right. Apparently they run out of internet. I don't know if that means we're not live or if it just means they've run out of internet literally on these 2 PCs. How do you run out of internet?
Well, the internet is a series of tubes.
Okay.
And at some point, the tubes end. You don't have any more tubes to run through.
The tubes?
And you run out of the tubes.
How does that work?
and you're out of the internet at that point.
Okay, I see.
That made sense, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it did on some level.
Something about tubes. Fascinating.
Yep. I agree.
Kind of like that, right?
Is this where we just like invite random people on the couch?
And we're going back to the soundboard.
Honestly, though, the metagame talk was kind of
Crazy
interesting.
dog. God, this
Find the
fucking
spaghetti.
soundboard is so overused.
Find the spaghetti.
There's no
Who's a
spaghetti.
good boy? Who's a good boy? That's about average. That's racist.
That's what I was looking for. Which one was that?
That's racist.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, yeah.
That's Hearthstone. Does anyone remember the in crowd?
That's racist.
Raise Yog.
Yeah, this
Wait,
must
I
have
thought this
been.
was Yogg. No, that one doesn't work. Okay.
I have a 100-word essay due, and he goes for the face.
Must be right there.
SeatStory
No.
Cup. SeatStory
It doesn't exist, Nox.
Cup.
It was there.
Raven, it's not Shaman.
It was like,
It's gaming.
his palms are sweaty. Mom spaghetti.
Top-dicked.
It's only funny if RDU says it though. Like yesterday we were walking out to like some dinner place, and
Become legendary.
Admirable was beatboxing, and RDU was rapping the "Lose Yourself" song.
Does he
It
know the
was-
song?
Oh my god, it was
Is he
so
a real
cringy.
rap god?
I had to run away to get. I had to run to get away from the cringe because it was catching up to me. You know, I was like walking in front of them.
Yeah,
It's just I couldn't handle it.
it's too quick.
Okay, now we're getting some paint drawings from production.
Top-dicked.
Can we show this,
NA
guys?
best region.
Okay, they're trying to give us the map of the soundboard on screen. Okay, you have to show them this, guys. Production, they need to see your drawing. All right, so where is the spaghetti?
Believe in life after love. That's pretty sick. Merry Christmas.
Ho ho ho!
Maybe no.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay, you have it now.
Hells yeah. SeatStory.
No,
Cup.
That's not it. They lied to
Turn
us.
it around, turn it
Oh,
around.
Let's press all 4 of these.
His palms
No,
are
you have it
sweaty.
wrong.
Oh, it is,
Wrong
it is,
way.
it is, it is. This
Arms
one.
are heavy. There's vomit
It's
on
this
his
one.
sweated already. His mom's spaghetti.
Yeah. We got it.
Do it.
Figured it out.
His palms are sweaty. Knees weak. Arms are
There you go,
heavy.
this
There's
one right
vomit on his sweated already. His
So here's the
mom's
problem.
spaghetti.
We were holding it the wrong way. I knew it. I told you it was this side.
I was doing everything perfectly. I blame you for this.
You told me to flip it upside down.
That's exactly what I did. and
You're
you just weren't
upside
listening.
down
You
was-
probably don't
I
even
have the
remember me
upside down
telling you
memorized
that.
though now. I have it memorized like this now.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it upside down.
Yeah.
Production's wrong too.
That's racist.
I look great with these antlers.
Yeah, yesterday I lost. Hey, this is my hat. Do you want
This one?
Do you want to activate it?
Damn it.
How do you activate it?
It goes like this.
I figured out that any
I don't want to activate it. I don't like this anymore.
Oh, I thought that'd be like right up your alley, man. Like, I want to play with a dirty Santa hat.
Whew. Hell yeah.
What the fuck is this? Are you putting on a wig?
Merry Christmas.
So it's like, what is this beard?
Oh, this looks
Okay,
good.
dude, this thing is really.
looks great, Saleh.
Yeah.
You should grow. It's not working.
Bottom right soundboard thing.
Woo. Hells yeah.
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
I've got a sweet outfit I'm gonna be wearing tomorrow. You guys should all tune in for that. It's gonna be really.
You're
good.
gonna do what?
I'm gonna be very embarrassed by the clothes I'm wearing tomorrow. I promise.
Why? What's going on?
Because it's embarrassing.
What you gonna wear?
This hat is
I don't want to
nuts.
spoil the surprise,
Oh, man.
but I bought an outfit specifically for this event. I'm gonna wear it tomorrow, and I've just been too scared to wear it up until this point. But tomorrow I'm definitely gonna wear it, and I'm gonna be drinking so that I can bear it.
It's going
So
nuts.
ominous. As
That's
long
the
as you
plan.
don't keep kissing any foreheads. It's gonna be
I'm
fine.
not kissing any foreheads.
Oh, I mean, that's fine
unless
by
I
me,
have too
but-
many drinks 50-50.
You're gonna be
Since when
drinking
do you grow
tomorrow.
mustaches on your nose, Saleh?
I'm trying my best.
There we go.
I can't breathe this way. This is awful.
Literally like a Cthulhu Santa Claus, dude.
I can't even, eh?
Tentacular Santa hat. All right.
So,
Where's the button? We need to get people on this couch.
yeah, please. The casting couch, I mean, after a certain period of time, you kind of get bored of being with the same person. You know what I mean? You need some variety.
Oh, you think we should see other people? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's not
Do you
that
need a
I'm-
break, Saleh?
Oh man, I think they're logging on or something.
Is there Hearthstone going on?
It
What?
I see a
feels-
cold blood and a gadget. There's no way you kept gadgets on auction here. That card costs 6 mana.
well, it's-
He did. He just did. Without the card.
This must be a test game.
oh,
Top deck patches in for one. Sick
Punished.
plays.
Punished for keeping that shit to hand.
we don't see.
Uh,
All right, so apparently the game is somehow working somewhere. This looks like casual, and CyberMeds has no idea it's being cast by professional commentators.
Man and Worm coin mirror image. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like that mirror image too much.
All right, guys, we are casting the absolute beep out of this match.
What is the beep?
It's just like a boop boop.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Backstabbing the own minion. Not sure about this
Interesting.
play.
Well, Patches backstabbed him coming in the hand. I'm saying that's good. Oh, wow, they give up right away.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a salty concede right there.
Yeah, I don't like
Didn't like
that.
drawing the patches.
Patches being drawn, patches being backstabbed, patches being conceded.
I mean, backstab the backstabber. C4mlan's talking to himself on the phone.
How do people ever have a Santa beard and not just die of uncomfortableness?
They kind of do. The thing is, they're paid to do it in malls, right? Not everybody's like got the luxury of playing card games for a living.
I need to talk to Admirable after experiencing this.
He doesn't have that kind of beard.
No, it's not this kind of beard, but I've grown my facial hair out a little bit more than it is now, and it always gets uncomfortable once it's like, I don't know, twice this length.
When it's
1.5
scratchy.
times. Yeah, it's once the hair is touching my lips, it's like no bueno, I do not want, right? But Admirable's got it, probably more hair than this beard.
Oh my God! No way.
That's a beautiful face you're putting on there, Ecop.
That's my derp face.
Your derp face? That's
Yep.
pretty
One
seductive.
of 10 derp faces that I possess.
What the fuck is wrong with this hat?
You turned it on.
Oh, but it's just attacking me at this point.
Okay. Just gonna put this right back on.
Oh my God! They're photoshopping it. No.
All right, boys and girls, we're looking at an amazing Photoshop coming in. We'll see what the end result is. Does it hold on your head?
For a period of time.
What is this?
This is definitely too much echo from.
All right, you have to try to do the same face. Match it. No, it's better on the picture.
Yeah, you could do better. That's pretty good.
You're getting there.
But more lip action, you know what I mean? You gotta really flare those lips.
Ah,
Now you look angry.
Now you look mad. That's another derp face, I think.
Okay. Try to maximize the amount of lip surface area that
Yeah,
we can see.
especially the upper lip.
You're on the right track. Don't give up, Ecop. You're so close. And also, turn your eyebrows orange, if you could. I'm not asking for too much, am I?
We're
pretty
getting there.
good.
That's good.
That's pretty good.
That is good. The jury's out. You did it, Eka.
But also turn your lips red.
I can't. It was the
So like you're
That's quitter
Next
talk.
thing is like be my girl. It's like no, don't go there. So like
It was the lighting, you know.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was a pretty good picture, for what it's worth. You know, I shouldn't have taken the little sticker that told me where the on-off button was because I keep losing it now.
Whatever.
Oh, there it is. No, it's not. It matters, man.
He keeps hitting me. Could you stop that?
Can you control your Santa hat? It's so damn weird. Dog bought me that.
I don't know where this has been actually.
This is my birthday today. Actually, it's not anymore, but it was yesterday.
Happy unbirthday.
Yeah.
It's also my unbirthday, by the way.
What are you now, 18?
Still 29. 29. He's gonna be 30 in like a month.
Really?
Yep. Almost 30.
Oh, that's not bad.
Feels old, man. Actually, I don't feel old at all. I'm in the best shape of my life. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you've done so much physical work.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's shown, actually. Like, you're a lot more handsome than when Archon Team House.
You saying I wasn't always gorgeous?
You
A
were
physical specimen?
You were quite...
Calling me fat?
No, just like, you
I
know...
was fat before that.
It was like... I went to, you know, Archon Team League, the Archon House, and it was like... The ladies potentially super good looking, and...
But you wouldn't bang me, for instance.
I mean, not quite at that time.
I wouldn't.
But it was one of those
I
things.
wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Wow.
I wouldn't, Zale.
That
I gotta
is-
be honest. I just wouldn't.
This is brutal. You guys are kind of hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an attractive man, and I'm worth it.
You're not tall enough.
Oh, shit.
The shots were fired from a distance. Oh, that hurt. We can't fix that, right? Like
Yeah, no, you can. Well, not anymore. But when I was younger, like human growth hormone, that's the thing.
That's the thing. Yeah, you could give him like HGH, right?
Yeah.
Kids. I'm
What's
not sure that's a good
HGH?
thing, but HGH, human growth hormone, it's basically what's in charge of making you grow, to put it mildly.
All right.
Yeah.
Makes you taller. Good at basketball.
I, on the other hand, went the full opposite route. I went from Archon Team League to Dad, and from Dad to Dad Bod, and from Dad Bod to I don't know what the hell to do with my life anymore.
some people are really into the dads. You know what I mean? Yeah. That stability is attractive.
I am not sure if that's the marketability I want to have. But, I mean, it's an audience, right? It's
Any
worth
audience
something.
Yeah.
It's worth something. It's like Dog just has people who want him shirtless. Yeah, I mean, that's the
setup
thing.
he's got there.
The cool thing about Dog's stream is that it kind of self-sustains. I don't know if you've noticed, but you go there and it kind of does its own thing. It's gotten
Right.
to the point where it's not quite as bad as Forsen's chat, where you still need the dank music to entertain the child. But if you go on like the Dog side, it's actually a bunch of somewhat clever people
Right.
who don't dank meme enough, or too much rather, for the stream to become like toxic, right? So you can go there as a casual viewer and still enjoy yourself.
So, if I wanted to enjoy this wonderful experience on Dog Stream, since we're plugging it so much, what URL would I go to? Since people definitely know what URLs are, right?
http://www.twitch.tv/dogdoghs.
Nice.
And you can give him
Nailed
a
it. I
beautiful
literally
donation.
remember.
And it goes something like Microsoft Sam meets Kermit the Frog voice,
Yeah.
reading out loud whatever it is you tell him.
Something about taking his shirt off, obviously.
Yeah, I remember once I gave him a gave him a donation. I said something like, "Oh man, this feels bad. I'm drinking on stream again because I'm forced to play this children's card game for a living." And his answer, slightly tipsy, was, "You shouldn't say that, man. It feels way too true." And he resumed playing a miserable evening of Hearthstone, and I just felt so amused by that.
Yeah.
It was a bad time though for the meta at that point. So.
Yeah, mid-range shaman ruling
Yeah,
everything.
it felt bad.
Things may be trending in that direction again, by the way. That's this whisper I'm hearing from various professionals at the moment is mid-range shaman, still a good deck.
Still
It
probably
was a
one of
good
the
deck
better
before.
ones, yeah.
It was a good deck before. It got some new cards. Jinyu Water Speaker, that's pretty pushed.
Yeah,
And,
Jinyu Water Speaker is actually making you want to play, like, in a metagame that's going so aggro,
Right.
they're the only class that really got the perfect tool for a mid-range deck to counter aggro and just be a kind of a tech or a fit for those decks, which is really surprising given how well they were already spreading their tools across, like, all the answers that they already had. It's kind
Yeah,
of
sometimes you
interesting.
wonder how good Blizzard is at distributing powerful cards to classes that need them. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's the thing is, like, Jinyu in the previous metagame wasn't something you wanted to play.
It kind of was.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. It didn't
like,
feel that
a
good.
heal was the one. It didn't. It wasn't as good in the previous metagame,
Sure.
but a heal was the one thing mid-range shaman was sort of missing. Like a common game plan for beating mid-range shaman was, for instance, tempo mage. You play a little bit of board presence early on, but at some point you're just trying to burn him down.
So here's a question for you, because like the rotation is gonna hit, and then that mostly won't matter much, right? Like Totem Golem's going away, Tunnel Trog's going away, and then their early game is a bit less powerful. And I feel like at that point, the goal of Jinyu Water Speaker was really to push more the control side of Shaman, and in that regard, I think it might succeed long term, right? Like we're looking at the short term standard, like cards that were out before standard was announced aren't even rotated out yet. So that I think might weigh a little bit in how the card is played afterwards.
Yeah, I hate these long-term arguments because
I agree. They're not really compelling.
the issue with we're planning for the long term is things need to be okay in the short term before you can care about that, right? Like if you're not handling things pretty well in the short term, how can you pretend to have the foresight to manage the long term effectively? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think card games have usually like this interesting cycle. One of the cool things, though, that if Control Shaman becomes a thing, that'll be kind of a first. I don't think we've ever had a meta where Control Shaman was even remotely like a big part of the kind of the trinity of the top three decks. For
I think you
instance.
missed last SeatStory Cup.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know if I would call that Control Shaman as much because it's like pretty top heavy, like in terms of the combo with the Ancestral Spirit shenanigans and the huge taunts. Control Shaman tends to just run like an Azoth with death rattles and a bunch of healing with the AoE clears. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good deck. It used to be a good deck too in a specific meta game. Like when Zoo was running Rampant as well, that against that deck was really good as well.
Yeah.
One of the key features for whether the deck's good or not is Ancestral Spirit, the thing that gives the guy Death Rattle, right? So it's very vulnerable to any kind of silence effect. So if for instance, Hex is popular in the metagame, it's just not going to be a good deck.
Yeah, I know Koyuki's been messing on the ladder with a Control Shaman list with Devolve as a 2-of, and he's climbed to Legend, I think, at this point. It was an interesting deck to look at because it's cutting Elemental Destruction,
Right.
cutting Healing Waves, playing 2 Water Speakers and 2 Devolves, and the Pirates just get decimated. It's like you play the Pirate lineup, they're all Wisps, Maelstrom Portal, solidify the game and win. It gets sometimes
But
really,
could
really
you
bad.
Elemental Destruction them and then skip the Maelstrom portal part.
The issue, though, is I find that Elemental Destruction's Lava Shock requirement is really steep at some point. And it's really, you kind of need Lava Shock to make use of it in many spots. Because right now, the decks are relentless. You clear their board, and they just go, all right, here's a 4-drop that's going to punch you for 8 over 2 turns like Chronolate, and you just feel bad even Elemental Destructioning in the first place. And turn 5 is a bit too late to wait for.
Yeah, it's
I only know Devolve as the turn enemies Ezreal into Flame Wreath Faceless.
Yeah, that's
or-
been my experience twice. There was a game, I was like, all right, if this works, I'm going super well. The guy had a 6-drop and a 5-drop, got Earth Elemental and Flame with the Faceless, and I just, like, that was my second game with that deck, and I'm like, you know what, Kayuki, this might work for you, but right now, the high rolls just don't feel like they're working for me, and I had to let it go.
Yeah, Elemental Destruction's a little bit more consistent.
It is, yeah.
Evolve.
For what it's worth, and I think the combination of that plus Halazeal is just really
What
good.
is this subtle message that's scrolling across the screen?
I didn't see anything.
Something about boy.
Boy?
Boy?
Here comes
Our
that
merch?
Buy our merch. All right, so they want us to buy our merch.
Whatever that means.
Shut
I
up,
don't know.
Noxious.
What?
Shut up, Noxious.
This is so good. You recorded that. Buy our merch.
I feel like Frodo is doing these on the fly.
Yeah.
Just-
He's
He's at home right now, like, shut up, Noxious. He's like,
calling
I'm
it.
not at the event, and he's right there, just waiting for the last day to come out. Big surprise. All right, guys, I'm back for the finals. All these casters are gone. I mean, he's gonna solo cast everything. Yeah. And the chat right now, I don't read it, but it's probably going wild. Like, hopefully that's
to the
happening.
rescue.
Yeah.
Superman
Eventually,
style.
we're just going to have a cast full of Frodo and sound bites.
Sounds good. I'd watch that.
I'd watch like Frodan 64 and just look at all the intro that he does. You saw the Kriparian video with like the 64 faces of him talking at the same time. You could do that with Frodan and probably get away with it.
Hey guys, preparing here.
Yeah, and if you have that in every video with the same pacing, it actually does a pretty wonderful mashup. They're not convinced. You should play it on stream. If production doesn't believe me, you just have to play it on stream.
Kriparian 64.
Kriparian 64. You just head on to YouTube and you type in Kriparian. I'm in sub, no, dude. Head on over to facebook.com/90. Head on over to youtube.com and type in Kriparian 64. You will find the video you're looking for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of selling out, if you subscribe to my channel, that's twitch.tv/SoleilHS, you get the 6 sellout emote, Zele S, and then it's like my face looking kind of ridiculous, but with some, green money signs over my eyes.
I like that.
And then you just spam that whenever there's commercials or any ridiculous sellout stuff like we're doing constantly right now. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have Nox Pride on my channel. Yeah, it looks pretty gorgeous.
What is your channel? This is where you'd spam Zele S right now, by the way.
Zella HS is good, right?
Well, Zele S is like the emote.
And the channel is?
The channel is Soleil HS.
Okay, all together, no underscore, nothing.
Yeah, no, just ZALAEHS.
Mind plugging your Twitter as well?
Yeah, go.
Twitter.com /
A real
LG underscore
Hearthstone
Soleil.
stream of the
Speaking of
purest
LG, great team. Shout out to Team Luminosity. Love those guys. They support me. They make it possible for me to travel to events like SeatStory, which, by the way,
Right.
is possibly my favorite tournament series in Hearthstone. This is SeatStory 6. I think I've been coming ever since like 3.
Yeah.
And it's across an ocean for me. Like I don't travel to Europe lightly.
For fun,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Well,
Well, for
I
fun
do
in this
travel here
case,
for
but-
fun, and because SeatStory Cup is
Yeah.
such a great event. You're just flashing it. Give him some time to write it down. There we go.
Oh, what a bunch of gods. Yeah, I feel like for the most part, like
There's a game? Hearthstone? I've never been so excited for Hearthstone in quite some time, to
all
be
right,
honest.
guys, let's get into the last match. Apparently, they've started their series again, resuming where they left
Still
off.
not-
C4mlan is up 1-0 over Lifecoach, who's up
Oh
and
my
going to
God.
defend against the
Oh my
Warrior
God.
with his Shaman.
Well, it's more, I would say, attack the Warrior with his Shaman, right? He chose Shaman to beat that Warrior.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
his deck is a bit more on the mid-rangey side.
Okay. Good work.
His job.
So Spirit Claws on 1 is a pretty powerful opener. It kills off things like N'Zoth's First Mate, Patches, and eventually a Buccaneer maybe. Imagine if you keep Spirit Claws and Maelstrom Portal, you could Spirit Claws the Buccaneer on turn 1, and then Maelstrom Portal on turn 2. I imagine the Jade Lightning is slow enough that you never keep it. The only way to keep Jade Lightning off the mulligan is if you had like multiple Jade cards and like a curve or something.
Do you keep Feral Spirit in this hand?
I would say no. Typically, the Dragon Warrior has great tools to deal with those 3 health wolves. And yeah, you don't want to overload yourself when you know your opponent's going to handle those wolves very well. And Lifecoach sees that. I actually like keeping the Jade Lightning, unlike you, since Jade Lightning with the 4 damage that it deals, it removes so much stuff from the warrior, especially the sprawling berserkers, which can be a real big problem going forward.
So we saw, I think, the small-time Buccaneer be mulliganed away by C4mlan, and I think I need to bring attention to this because it's not intuitive, and one of the big reasons often is that Shaman tends to be able to answer that card very efficiently, and that leaves you with very little card draw to replenish the hand if that's all you're going on. But it seems kind of ambitious, as most people would probably choose to keep it.
Well, he had an exhaust first mate, right?
Right.
So why would you need another in 1 drop when you are planning on going 1, 2, 3, 4?
When you're the first player, yeah.
Exactly. When you have the coin, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the play here? You could coin Maelstrom Portal, you could Spirit Claws and hit something. Are there any other reasonable options to consider?
What about Spirit Claws pass? Is that ever a thing?
But that definitely signals the Maelstrom Portal.
Yeah.
So your opponent will know.
So he won't play his other 1-drops, for instance, if he's even got any more in that deck, really.
Right.
Yeah.
There could be a Fairy Dragon, for example. Like, you would definitely not play Fairy Dragon if that was the case.
Well, that's a good point. Fairy Dragon's probably the one minion he wouldn't play in that spot if you gave him the information you were holding on to the portal. All right, well, maybe the coin and Maelstrom into Jade Claws is just good enough.
Open for injured Kvaldir off of this.
I mean, I'll take anything with 3 health, my friend. This is
Anything with more than 1 health, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Volchar Footman, above average.
All right, the Oxford champion can answer this, but it's open to Jade Claws immediately afterwards, which I think is what Lifecoach was banking on anyway, with the Jade Claws being able to answer the 2 health remaining on the champion. Yeah, it's a pretty good curve so far for both players.
Yeah, pretty much optimal.
Well, if both players counter each other out that well, then who do you think going forward is going to be the favorite?
It's got to be Dragon Warrior. Cards like Fiery War Axe and Alex Strauss's Champion are just unreasonably efficient. Or do you think the Jade stuff could theoretically beat that out once it gets to, like, you know, Jade Lightning spawn a 4/4?
Yeah, if that happens, which is very unlikely, I don't think Lifecoach runs Aya in his deck, so it's just 4 Jade cards.
It does have Aya, yeah.
It does have Aya?
Yeah.
Oh,
Up to
okay
6
then. Well, then in that case, it's yeah. If he gets to that point, then
They could bury the
definitely Shaman
warrior,
cannot
right?
value the warrior.
Yeah, you can bury him in 4/4s and over. It's really down to the 4/4 threshold though, because that's when stuff gets really difficult to handle as the warrior, and it trades very well into Corruptor, into the Azure Drake. Yeah. The Hex is though not there for potential, you know, good mid-game pushes. At least the Jade Lightning keep was, I think he was just playing around with the idea of going for the bury the opponent in Jade Lightning game plan, right? As soon as he decided to keep that.
So C4mlan picks up a Fiery War Axe. Now that he has a weapon in hand, he's going to be more inclined to just swing with that Rusty Hook every turn, potentially. He's going to have to plan it out based on what his curve is for upcoming turns.
All right, South Deckhand along with the Jade Claws can dispose of the Crawling Berserker here.
You could also embarrass yourself if you swing with the weapon first, and the deckhand loses charge. But then you have the Spirit Claws, and it all works out. And that way, you avoid taking the extra damage from the Frothing Growing.
Exactly.
Do you ever just keep the Pirates and use Lightning Bolt?
You do want to use the weapon charge since you have so many of them.
And there's also the Ghoul risk of... I mean, C4mlan doesn't run them, I believe, right?
I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I think his version is too much on the aggressive side to really justify running the Ghouls. All right. This is kind of an interesting spot where Lifecoach finds himself.
Lifecoach might consider Lightning Bolting here.
Yeah.
Preserve minions.
Face, Spirit Claws, trade the deckhand.
Yeah, decides to leave himself not overloaded, so he can play Jade Lightning if he really needs to use it.
Draconid Crusher, not quite the play you want this turn. So the hook's going to kill patches, and then I imagine you spend as much mana as you possibly can developing. That means Fiery War Axe and Small Time Buccaneer hitting play, because you're curving into Azure Drake and Draconic Crusher over the following turn, so you won't have time to play those things later. So it's important to just play it now to play for tempo, maximize board presence.
Yeah, Lifecoach is also starting to get, you saw the first Jade Claws giving him a 1-1, then Jade Lightning would represent a 2-2, and after that point, we're starting to talk about easily remove 3-3 into Aya, for instance, on curve would be absolutely crippling because you get a 4-4 and a 5-5 from the death of that minion. And CapMlan right now, his hand doesn't look like it's going to generate too much board tension for the time being. I mean, he's already gotten the patches out of the N'Zoth's first mate. He's equipping a weapon which is very defensive and slow enough for Lifecoach to respond to.
Okay, so turn 4 for Lifecoach. How do we deal with this 3-2? Probably not Hex.
You get a spell damage totem.
Ah, that's a good start. And if you don't get a spell damage totem, if you're not that skilled? What if it's a taunt totem? Do you ever
I've never considered that scenario, honestly.
No. It's
It's
hear me
always
out.
a spell damage totem.
Sometimes it's not. In fact, 75% of the time in this kind of position. But you could just lightning bolt, right?
Sounds unlikely.
I feel like when you've got the Jade Lightning, though, on a serious note, you can probably expend the Lightning Bolt and bank on the Jade Lightning to get you out of trouble if an Azure Drake comes out on 5, and then maybe you can keep the totem for Flame Tongue totem usage later on. So
yeah, so hero power, it's not spell damage. Lightning Bolt, if it is spell damage, probably waste the remaining 2 mana. You don't want to play Flame Tongue here, do you? No, not into that Fireworks. That's crazy.
you might bolt, or unless you really think the 3-2 is attacking into this.
For sure, Bolt.
Yeah. All right, not bad.
3-2 is going face.
Yeah.
All right, 5 mana. How about that Azure Drake?
How about the
You draw
two
5.
Azure Drakes?
Ooh, yeah, which one? Left or right? One's a top deck.
I heard Kalento say a while back that you want to play the one you had in your hand to disguise the information you already had, since people have been keeping track of the cards in your hand and not off the top. Does that make any sense?
I think that's true more often than not, but I think if you do it that way 100% of the time, you're perhaps giving away more information than necessary. It might be correct to play the top decked one some smaller percentage of the time.
Okay. Enlighten me.
I'm just going off of instinct. It's kind of complicated for me to figure out why I think that's true.
Okay. All right, well, Zalay, the
Yeah.
instinct player.
Trust me, I'm usually right about stuff like that.
That sounds like the worst car salesman pitch I've ever heard in my life, but that's fine. Your car seems to be running pretty fine, sir. Just take my word for it.
It's good, trust me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that if you have a pattern that's that strong 100% of the time, you always play the older one and not the newer one. It seems like you're giving away some information that way.
Okay, sure. So you don't really...
I think it's correct to not like 50-50 randomize it and more often go with Kalenda's suggestion of playing the older one, but some percentage of the time.
All right,
I would
so
play
just
the newer
switch it
one.
up a little bit. So Jade Lightning here finds a target right on the curve, which is kind of what Lifecoach was aiming for. Going to turn 5 from CapMlan, he had the Jade Lightning ready. Does not really get too much of a powerhouse play, and the Warrior's drawing pretty well at this stage.
Yeah, and Finley kind of turns a potentially dead hero power into continue action, so CapMlan's not worried about running out of value here.
Oh no, and look at that Arcanite Reaper. That's the tech card of his deck, because you usually don't find it in the Dragon Pirate deck.
Right, it's more of an aggro card, so it's really good for killing off rogues since they don't have heals or taunts to interact with that. It's less good against Shaman because of things like Stone Claw Totem interacting and Feral Spirits.
Yeah.
But it's a nice clean answer to a Thing from Below.
Yeah, Thing from Below is also one of the cards that it's kind of slow to play, but against a lot of the decks that are trying to be aggressive, say Pirate Warrior, it really puts a dent in their ability to pressure. But against Dragon, less so. I find that they often have an answer to a 5-5 on the board.
These might be the 3 best hero powers. What do you like, Ekup?
Typically in the Guru matchup, I like the Fire Blast to control the board. Typically it all comes down to board control. However, CapMlan being in a dominant position as he is in right now, Life Tap seems to be an okay decision.
Okay.
But then again, with the hand being so clunky for CapMlan, I don't think he's going to Life Tap much.
Right.
So
I mean, with his hand being so clunky, he's not going to use any hero power much. It's one way of looking at it. But if he were to use a hero power, Life Tap would be kind of like the last one he would want to go to.
Probably, yeah.
But it's also just sort of the most powerful. A way of looking at it is he's ahead on board, so it's difficult for his opponent to race him. So if they can't race him, just have the power and consistency of Life Tap to find more plays.
Yeah, eventually you might want to dig for lethal, for a more convenient lethal with the Life Tap as well.
Yeah, easier ways to clean the game up. And he's got 2 upgrades in there. So that Reaper, if it's not answered with Weapon Hate, can find an increased damage output.
Looking at Camlin's hand, I really didn't like the life tap. I think I liked either of the other 2 better.
All right, so Fire Blast
But
for board
I go
control.
with Ecop. I like the Fire Blast for board control. Smorking down a Shaman is not really a warrior's role. It's more of a hunter thing. Although that could just be hero power related.
Typically, when you look at the other Dragon class facing off against Shaman, the Dragon Priest, it always comes down to board control. So Warrior can take the same approach, typically.
Well, there's a life tap turn with Blackwing Corruptor if he wants to take it. Cleans up a portion of the board quite well and puts him ahead with a 5-4 against a 3-4. And Lifecoach is on top deck mode at this point.
Yep, I like Blackwing Corruptor on that Buccaneer and life tap first. Or you could tap Blast to try and tilt your opponent. Do you think that's going to work against Lifecoach?
I mean, earlier he was spinning in his chair when he found patches off the top in his starting hand. So if a Lifecoach spins in his chair in a competitive game, maybe there's something to it. Maybe you can tilt him. But I'm going to go ahead and say getting spammed with Twitch chat, like Drawlat, LA Giggle in Twitch chat isn't worth it.
Okay. So, deckhand's powerful with Flame Tongue, but it does look like a bit of a value problem here.
You might still get the spell damage totem off of the hero power, and if you do, then that's a really crazy turn. You get to clear up the boards, establish your Flame Tongue, as well as keep the totem golem alive.
Taunt Totem would arguably be even better in this situation.
Yeah, probably.
So 50% of the totems are pretty good. Spell damage or taunt. Healing and searing weaker. Searing in particular being the weakest.
And well, okay.
Right.
That's the second worst, but
So I would trade with the totem golem here.
what does it play around is the question, right? Because there's no more armor up, so if you manage to race, you can actually close out the game. I just don't know how realistic that is.
I don't really think you play around anything by attacking into the Finley here.
Yeah.
So I would go face here.
Play around like Blood to Ichor on the healing totem plus a Finley trade.
But he knows for a fact his game does not run it. His deck, that is, doesn't run Blood to Ichor nor Ravaging Ghoul, as it is a very aggressive list with the Arcanite Reaper, the upgrade. So I think the race is on at this point. You've got low card advantage. The guy's got life tap. If you put him under pressure at all, then he has to respond with board clears of his own or just crazier pressure.
Noxious, I think we got your one-sided pull right there on the left.
Yeah, I think that's really biased.
People really like Raynad.
Who's winning, green or red?
Red Raynad's going to win, obviously.
Why?
Because the number is bigger. 70 is bigger than 30.
Okay.
I mean, are you questioning Twitch chat? You think they're wrong?
I never said anything like that. Don't unleash their wrath on me.
I'm just saying, Twitch chat's always right. That's my experience.
What's your Twitter again?
All right, so Camlin's got 8 mana to spend here. He probably doesn't want a life tap. He wants to focus on turning the cards he already has into board presence rather than drawing more cards. So what's the best way to do that? Maybe Alex draws his champion, Korkron, and Fairy Dragon?
That seems like the most board presence oriented play, and yeah, I like that a lot.
And then how do you make the attacks?
Do you lose the Korkron, or do you let the Totem Golem take value trades, right?
Probably lose the Korkron. So champion goes into Flame Tongue, Korkron into Totem Golem. Finley pushes 1 measly damage.
And Jade Lightning coming in to save the day here. And there could be a spell damage totem. It's about time, really. Oh, and he finds it. That is insane.
I'd be really tempted to just smork with that Jade Lightning instead of clearing a minion. Does you think that makes sense?
It's 5 damage, that's a lot. And Warrior, of course, no more ways of gaining health since there's no more armor up.
Think
You
about
know
it this
what?
way. 5 face damage is like 2.5 life taps. It's card advantage to Jade Lightning face.
That's right.
Okay, we're trading.
I mean, if you're not losing this 3-3, it might amount to even more damage over time. The Finley doesn't even kill the spell damage totem right now. So there's a lot to be said for that. I really like this line of play, and now Camlan almost can't afford life tapping, has a pretty good hand as far as board presence, but if Lifecoach gets a good draw, this could spell disaster for Camlan.
What would a good draw for Lifecoach be?
Azure Drake. He does run 2 of those, so that would be kind of step 1. And if he picks up a Bolt on the back of that, that's an extra 5 damage off
How
the
about
Bolt.
an Aya?
Sure. Feed me a 4/4. I'll take it. All right.
Blood Mage Thalnos, not a great draw here.
There's the possibility of Stoneclaw Totem coming up and stalling a little bit longer. Unfortunately for Lifecoach, that is not the Stoneclaw he was looking for. Do you kill the 6/6 with your board? I think you fall too far behind if you do, right? Or must you?
Well, I'm pretty sure you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Does
Else you end up taking 2 hits from the 6/6 and then it's over.
Well, he has Hex in his deck, right?
He's got 2
Some
hexes
kind of
in
line
the
where he
deck.
just relies on drawing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Korkron left. There is an unabled Blackwing Corruptor. There are the Fire War Axes and the Arcanite Reaper still in there. So there's a lot of weapon damage and a lot of damage coming from just the board directly.
Okay, so where's this 3/3 going? Is ever killing that Finley?
I mean, it's a good halfway point, right? Because you are getting value trade, and if you plan to hex that minion, then having the upper hand in the trades is going to matter quite a bit. But you're really not protecting that much aside from a Searing Totem, which guarantees that you're more likely to find Stoneclaw on the next hero power. So to improve your odds of Stoneclawing, then you kill a Finley.
Okay, then. And
Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Oh my damn.
Yeah, that's...
excellent follow-up. So 6 + 9, we're at 15, 2 off lethal.
Yes.
Can we tap into lethal, Heroic Strike? Is that in the deck?
It's not in the deck, no. He's not
You
that
wish.
greedy. No, not that much. There could be the Korkron Elite for the next turn. Set up Alexstras's champion if he picks up a dragon afterwards.
Tap Wolf Rider would be lethal, right? Yeah. He probably doesn't have Wolf Rider either.
That'll teach him. Get him.
I'm just trying to think of ways, man.
Heroic Strike seems like maybe South Sea Deckhand if it's in there, right? That would be
Okay,
2 extra
okay.
damage. That is not the draw you want to life tap into.
The dead one.
So
Well, this 6 is always going face. And the other 6 is also always going face. The question is, does the 3/4 need to trade to defend you from some kind of lethal?
it's from the Stoneclaw I'd be worried about because then I can't
Yeah.
go face with the Arcanite Reaper, right? Like that's the biggest worry I have at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. You will want to kill off a totem here.
I like that trade. I really do like that trade. That is not a draw Lifecoach wanted. There's still the possibility of Stoneclaw, but can he really stop it? Blood Mage has to go check for something.
So Lifecoach did have lethal outs if you were playing Lava Burst, right? Something like Lava Burst, trade Thalnos in, and then some other burn spell.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he doesn't play Lava Burst, he plays Hex.
This warrior from CamLan has
Hex
been
would've been good, too.
destroying Lifecoach. The first series just went 2-0, but there could be a reverse comeback there from Lifecoach. His warriors did a lot of work.
Yeah, I think Dragon Warrior, it's been performing pretty consistently throughout the tournament. I know it's really strong for me. I had a 3-0 win with it. It 3-0 swept me as well from JJ. It's just really strong. When you draw the right cards, you know, N'Zoth's First Mate pulling patches into Alexstras's champion into Frothing Berserker is just absurd.
Yeah, it's typically not how a curve deck should operate, right? Like typically curve decks don't necessarily have a strong answer to very aggressive openings, right? Sometimes the very aggressive decks can, like for example Pirate Warrior, can be just much more faster than the curve approach. But then again, with so much good early game available to the Dragon Warrior nowadays with the patches, the N'Zoth's First Mate.
Oh my god, is this really happening? Lifecoach found the Drake that found the Flame Tongue and found the Stoneclaw on a 50%, and the Arcanite Reaper is stranded.
So tap into some kind of charge lethal.
I mean, you can get Alexstras's champion or Korkron Elite or Draconic Crusher. Pick your poison. They all kind of work. The Corruptor, sorry, not the Crusher. Yeah, this kind of works out. I mean, there are 3 outs at least that are live in the deck. That's probably the play you have to make. Otherwise, how much is there on board from Lifecoach? There's 14.
13? Oh, is it?
And you
What's
can't,
the weapon?
It's 3
Spirit
attack,
Claw.
Spirit Claws.
Okay.
So if you life tap, you're dead for sure on board. And if you attack into the Stoneclaw, you're dead anyway because the buff slides over to
Alright.
the Buccaneer.
So
Let's tap.
It's either tap or play the Crusher and pray.
I mean, honestly, I don't mind playing the Crusher and Pray. The odds of life tap giving a win, and that's gonna be the Corkron that comes out to save the day. Oh, well done.
Wow. So Camlin up 2-0. Lifecoach is going to have to reverse sweep.
Yeah, in the words of Pavel, very honorable strategy. Bring it all to face. And Camlan is... I mean, this warrior is doing so much work. I'm surprised that we haven't seen anyone else bring this type of aggro spin on the warrior, because that Reaper played a huge role in that win.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. It was a fine follow-up to the board development.
The board development that he had. Yeah, it's the ability to consolidate what he already had on board. And, you know, the typical hyper aggro deck doesn't quite do that.
Well, the Arcanite Reaper did exactly what it was supposed to do, right? Just finish the job.
Yep.
Well, so we've got a pseudo-mirror match. Both players playing Dragon Warrior, but Camlin's is perhaps more aggressive with the Arcanite Reaper.
I think, if I remember correctly, Lifecoach also plays that Blood Cultist version, though.
He does play the Blood Cultist with a double Ravaging Ghoul, however, and the Blood to Ichors.
And he has Malkarok on 7.
Yeah.
So very different approach to the same thing. I guess Camlan's better at closing games when it snowballs out of control, and Lifecoach is willing to go the extra mile to finish the game off.
Yeah, I would say Ravaging Ghoul is definitely more of a defensive card than Blood to Ichor to a lesser extent.
But you're on the play, so Lifecoach is going to be getting his patches out early and forcing Camlan to respond with something of his own.
Incidentally, you can make a bit of a read about the opponent's hand based on whether they hit this Rusty Hook or not. If they hit with the hook, there's a good chance they have Fiery War Axe. If they don't hit with the hook, they almost certainly do not have Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really good point, because it's a good way to analyze, you know, how scared of it you should be, right? When you're playing those cards like Alexstras's Champion or Frothing Berserker with a 1/1 on board.
Yeah, so paying attention to those small details can really up your win rate in the long run.
Yeah, both players with a very nice curve here to counter each other out. But it does seem like it does favor Camlin a little bit more, since he has additional options.
Does Patches need to trade there? What if he just went face?
You are forcing the trade on the way back, so that's true. There's a good point there.
I wonder if Camlin could have stolen one face damage there.
I think he could have. I think every time Lifecoach in that spot just goes back with a trade and brings himself down to 28.
Seems pretty likely. Ooh. No pirate for that, though.
That's one of the biggest problems of the card, right? In just about every single deck that plays it is you oftentimes just need to play it right after you've unleashed, you know, Nizaz's First Mate with patches, and then go coin Bloodzeal Cultist on 2 and maybe get the extra, you know, charge on the hook, and it becomes a 2/4, and suddenly against aggro or even Shaman, you just get this, you know, sneak off a bunch of kills on totems and minions. As it stands, though, it's mostly going to be, you know, 3/4 without an effect unless something else comes up later in the game.
So Camlin's probably playing Alexstras's Champion this turn. He could go face. He does have a bit of a read that Lifecoach doesn't have Fiery War Axe to punch it, but I like the trade, and Frothing Berserker is why. And you can see Lifecoach does have Frothing Berserker. By making the trade, the Frothing Berserker doesn't get that +2 attack buff.
Yeah, now Lifecoach might actually have to think about just playing the Bloodzeal Cultist based on better initial stats, since there is the threat of potentially Corkron Elite into the Frothing Berserker for the value trade.
Right. If Lifecoach plays this Frothing Berserker that's just a 2/4, Camlin could coin out Corkron Elite and value trade it, like you were saying.
Yeah, and it feels like Camlan, based on the way that he's been playing this hand, does have something a bit, you know, slow-ish. There isn't necessarily going to be like a Fiery War Axe for the trade, instead choosing to trade a minion away. So he might be holding on to some more high-end cards.
Tough spot for Lifecoach.
Yeah, I'd value the Cultist just because you can play the Frothing, initiate a trade, and then get the damage buff, but there's got to be something to be said about this. You still have the hook to handle the Corkron when it damages your Frothing Berserker.
Right. It's not a complete disaster because of the hook. Good point, Noxious.
Ooh. Double upgrade.
Yeah, it's not. He needed that last turn, right? No, maybe not.
That would have been pretty good to handle the Alexstras's Champion, keep himself a minion, but as it stands, it's probably going to be going on an Arcanite Reaper of Fiery War Axe to get some disgusting trades and phase damage if need be later on in the game. For now, though,
looks like Cultist without value and 1 to the face.
Yeah.
No, you don't play 1 to the face. Just Cultist go.
What if you hit the Frothing once? It's a 3/4. it doesn't kill. I mean, it has to trade into your own cultist if the
Does
opponent
it?
wants to deal. You
If
think
you
it would
hit-
hit face against, right?
Then again, if you hit it though, and there is a Corkron on Lifecoach's side,
GG,
then,
yeah.
yeah.
GG. I see that. I mean, it does play better if you pick up a Blackwing Corruptor right off the top. And he's
Ooh.
going to go for the kill it over 2 turns and take a total of, that's like 8 damage from it?
Yeah, looks like it.
That's a lot of damage from a 3-drop.
Squeezes in the armor up though, so a little bit of damage mitigated that way.
Yeah. Lifecoach must be feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 4-mana turn and no good way to spend 4 mana. Like, Fairy Dragon Armor Up technically spends 4 mana, but the Armor Up doesn't really count as spending mana because you're not concerned about gaining 2 life in this position. You're concerned about tempo, board presence, that kind of thing. So the Fairy Dragon is sort of spending just 2 mana.
Yeah, so
Cultist
here's the
is better
question,
call
right?
to play.
Which of the cultists as a vanilla 3-4 and the Fairy Dragon guarantee or are more likely to guarantee tempo, right?
Well, the Cultist. It's a bigger body.
But what
3-4 is
kills the
bigger
Fairy
than 3-2.
Dragon? Like, the Blackwing Corruptor would punish you harshly, right? If you went for the Fairy Dragon and the opponent happened to coin out Blackwing Corruptor on turn 4 and kill the Fairy, you'd be in a pretty dire spot. So I think I like the Cultist more, even though it doesn't get the weapon charge.
Yeah, I just like it because it's a stronger tempo play.
Sure.
Also, there's a tiny bit of merit to just saving an extra dragon in your hand so that you can kind of play the Azure Drake and not top deck dragons and still have cards like Blackwing Corruptor activated.
Yeah, that's a marginal edge, but it's definitely something that is going to come up to his mind. Now, that's a minion you can play now instead of going for the Drake, but the Azure Drake challenges the 3-4 and forces a weapon trade. You give initiative back to the opponent, though. How do you feel about...
The Azure Drake has an issue with Blackwing Corruptor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, both plays have an issue with Blackwing Corruptor, but it's worse with the Azure Drake. Because with the Azure Drake, you're not even forcing his minion to trade into the... Now the Blackwing Corruptor clear involves putting 3 damage on your minion so that it dies to Camlin's weapon.
Yeah, this upgrade has been doing quite a bit of work here. Without it, I think he'd be unable to clear off most of the minions. It would be nice if at least he'd picked up some kind of early game. We saw the Pirate opener for both players kind of get dismantled and fizzle. No good follow-up from it from either player, really.
Yeah, that's true. So, 5 mana and a coin, what do?
I mean, at this point, using the weapon to trade is getting risky, right? Because you're almost at the 9-9 mark, where your opponent could drop his huge 9-9, and then you're forced in a position of scrambling to answer it or initiating face race, which you won't win.
Fortunately, though, Camlin is not really left with any other choice.
Yeah.
He will dig for another card here with this Azure Drake, hits curve, and see maybe he gets something worth playing. Oh,
Did he patches already? He did.
Yes, on
Yeah.
turn 1. Otherwise, this would have been an amazing way to prevent some phase damage.
So, indeed, Camlin has no option but to take 3 from the Cultist, so he might as well kill it with his weapon while he's taking 3.
correct.
Yeah, and there's a chance that if you coin out the Buccaneer, I don't know if you feel like doing that, but if you did, then you could always just go for the upgrade Blood Cell Cultist on the following turn on a weapon you top deck, and maybe stabilize from there on out, but again, the health total are starting to matter a lot here.
So, coin upgrade into Buccaneer Cultist.
Or you just keep a coin and go for the play a weapon upgrade later. All right, he's going to go for the extra weapon charge on this, turning it into a makeshift Fiery War Axe at this point in the game.
Yeah, he's dropping so low already. At any point of the game, if Lifecoach ever draws the Draconid Crusher, I think Camlin is in very, very big trouble then.
Now, does Lifecoach go wide on this board?
Go wide how?
Is it with the Blood Cell Cultist Fairy Dragon, or does he opt for the Azure Drake to contest the board with chunkier minions that don't die to the weapon that Camlin has equipped?
Well, the first thing on my mind here as Lifecoach is my Blackwing Corruptor is going face. Because my opponent's a warrior, so the spell damage as Edge Drake is actually not that scary. It affects Blood Acre at most, not a whole lot, right?
And he doesn't
it's not like
play
a
it,
rogue
so
where
it's
you have
even
to clear
better.
it.
Yeah.
So the Blackwing Corruptor is going face. He's going to 11, so we're in pretty good position to try and close out the damage. You can't set up lethal by Fiery War Axe face. It's not enough. So
Just as a Drake.
just Azure Drake.
There is a Blood to Icar in the deck. I like going wide just because you can close out, again, that damage a little bit more likely. Because you're forcing him to use the weapon to attack the dragon, and if he gets a value trade, your 5-4 stays alive. And you've got Fire War Axe in hand to nearly finish this off.
All right, so with this, Lifecoach puts more attack on the board right away, increasing his chance of getting lethal next turn.
The Blood Cell Cultist with the small Buccaneer would let him kill the 3-4 with his weapon. Trade the Drake away in the 5-4, since the value trade is getting dismantled by the hook.
Yep, makes a fair amount of sense. And C4mlan's life total is getting really low.
Yeah. I mean, it reached critical point when he was at 20 health and no sizable board against Lifecoach's board.
Right.
But now it's getting to the point where it's almost game losing not to have anything here.
Pretty sure C4mlan is just forced in a position now where he hopes that Lifecoach will never draw any more direct damage.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of it in the deck, right? That's what the deck does so well, especially with the patches version, where you can start that train off really early and close it out at the, with Core Chrono Lead, Blackwing Corruptor at any point in the game. So now we're looking at 6 potential damage coming from Lifecoach with the Fiery War Axe and the Dragon, but does not find the extra Core Chrono Lead-like card that would have helped close out the game. Oh man.
So, it's one of those spots, Smork or board control.
I mean, he's at 9 health, right? So if I swing right now for 6, I'm still not killing him next turn with the
Fire War Axe to the face.
Fire War Axe to the face.
I'm inclined to trade, and part of it is because the potential for cards like Twilight Guardian to come out and taunt up.
One Twilight Guardian is gone already, though, and there is no Curator, so that second Twilight Guardian will be the only taunt left.
Sure. But trading seems to quite reliably lead to a win.
Yeah, the 4-4
protects your
contestants.
board presence.
Yeah. The fact that the Azure Drake here is protected, I think, is key to this play. And Finley, all right, we could buy a little bit of time. And I say a little bit, because that's literally what it is. Pick up the Priest Hero Power on the back of this Armor Up. You could clean up the board and stay alive through the Fiery War Axe hit that's coming up. And then you can keep healing, maybe pick up the Twilight Guardian off the top. Is that enough?
You don't have to Finley and heal this turn, right? So if your cultist goes into the 3-2 Fairy Dragon, you're staying down 7, you armor up to 8, don't die. So yeah, you can just Azure Drake and armor up.
Fair enough.
Clear the board.
And stay at 1 health, and then go Finley for Desperation when
Following turn,
it's necessary.
First, you want to get the board under control, then you start trying to heal up out of range.
Yeah.
Because healing when your opponent has board control just kind of doesn't work out great.
Well, now there's just a very good possibility Lifecoach goes face and sets up a 2-turn lethal with the War Axe hits, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
I like that play a lot. I would play Fairy Dragon, Frothing Berserker, armor up, and 3 to the face. So if the opponent armors up and doesn't do any additional defensive play like taunt or Finley heal, it's just lethal with the Fire War Axe from hand. I don't like playing the second Fire War Axe from hand this turn. You never know when they're going to surprise you with some weapon destruction that you thought they didn't have it in their list, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's also just the fact that you want to disguise you have it, so maybe they're not as inclined to go, say, Finley for the Priest Hero Power after they've cleaned up the board, assuming you're on top deck.
That's a great point. Yeah. Now, it is fairly obvious that you're setting up lethal, because when this War Axe goes face instead of clearing a 3-1, like...
I mean, if you don't even play the Fairy Dragon, it looks like you're just doing it because you need to, right? Because by keeping it, you're also activating Blackwing Corruptor in the case of a taunt play.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. It's
And
as
Lifecoach.
disguised as it's going to get, I think.
All right, so armor up Finley.
Looks like the play. Would C4mlan ever get greedy enough, though? That's what we have to look at here. Like, let's look what C4mlan goes for. Because if he goes greedy, he just armors up, plays the 6-6, trades and goes face and hopes he can start snowballing out of control.
Nah, I don't think he's ever that greedy. I think he saw that War Axe go face, and he knows what that means. It's time to look for the safest possible line here, because 3 damage is very likely coming
Even
at
the
his
Druid
head.
Hero Power would be nice.
Yeah.
These are the 3 worst, but the
All
Shaman
right.
could get Stoneclaw, so it's not quite over.
Oh
My God!
And the crowd goes wild.
Life.
All you have to do to make a crowd go wild is play Ragnaros, Babbling Book,
Tempostorm.com.
or Finley.
Become legendary.
I want to mention, Camlin can hear the crowd right now. He for sure can hear the crowd, so
I
he
mean,
kind of
they're
knows.
loud. They're loud as hell.
Yeah, so he knows from that reaction that Lifecoach just had the lethal blocked by that Stoneclaw totem.
Well, I think in this spot, if you're life coach, you just stick to your guns. Keep the Fairy Dragon in hand. Maybe keep the Blood to Icarus so there's not a healing totem that comes out to heal a Stoneclaw. I mean, there's no more armor ups, right? So you just gotta go through this non-stop.
That is a crazy swing. So Blood to Icar just to kill that 3-1.
I would have kept the Blood to Icar to maybe get the second one, or the Ghoul to kill the Stoneclaw and then equip the War Axe. Because right now the Stoneclaw might come back up and you're gonna be forced into making that play. But you can always kill the Stoneclaw. So using Blood here just doesn't seem right. You want to keep it for the Ghoul to kill a potential second Stoneclaw.
Okay, but in that case, how are you winning?
You need to get either Blackwing Corruptor off the top for the win. There's no more armor
But you're not
ups.
getting that and Ghoul. Like you're getting one card or the other.
One or the other. You win with Ghoul if Stoneclaw comes up. Because you play Blood to Icar
Oh,
on
because
the
there's no second
Stoneclaw.
armor up. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's fine. He's stuck at 3 health for the remainder of the game. You've got him on lethal if he just misses one totem roll. If the Ghoul comes off the top and Stoneclaw comes up, that is going to be a painful experience. Not the Twilight Guardian.
All right, let's roll a taunt totem.
You got to start with the roll because that's the only thing that matters. Any charge minion does it too. Alex Straw is champion, Corcoran on lead. Lifecoach has a bunch of outs.
Oh.
And that is it. Camlan will go down to the Warrior. There's some justice in the world,
Yeah.
at least.
All right, so Lifecoach on the board. No 3-0 sweep.
Oh man,
Turns out
that
the way
was
the Dragon
really
Warrior
tight.
is Dragon Warrior.
Yeah, that was an incredible series. I mean, but it's definitely what Lifecoach needs to stay in here. Now he's gonna rely on his Dragon Warrior, and yeah.
So we've seen
That's
Dragon
what
Warrior
it is.
counters Dragon Warrior. Let's see if there's anything else. Maybe Camlin can figure out some way to beat the deck. Because so far, Dragon Warrior has won every game in this series.
Yeah, Camlan's Dragon Warrior into Dragon Warrior. Now the Shaman from Camlan will come out. This is a very aggressive list. Camlan is running the Hyper Aggro, Double, Flame Wreathed Faceless, and the list that Lifecoach is running, Warrior-wise, does not have Executes, as those have been pretty much cut, I think,
Yeah.
from the metagame.
2 mana, too slow. And so that's important because it makes Camlin's Flame Wreath Faceless very powerful. He might actually keep that card off the mulligan. I would strongly consider it. He threw it back.
Yeah, now he picks up the patches, Enabler, Small Time Buccaneer. And now none of them have patches in their opening hand so far, so that's something to consider.
Lifecoach's opener is very strong. Turn 1 first mate, potentially coining Blood to Icar with it. Yep, looks like he probably coins Blood to Icar with it to kill off that opposing buck.
Oh, I love
It's a
that.
full clear, and he's got a strong board presence.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
curving into turn 2 Warax into turn 3 Cultist, upgrading.
With
Wow.
a very likely weapon if there's no Maelstrom Portal, with the upgrade being enabled from the Pirates on the board. But I think Camlan will be playing his Maelstrom Portal on the back of that.
Yeah. just
Most
to fight for the board.
definitely.
Yeah. Do you ever not play the Blood to Icar on the coin here?
I mean, you can consider plays like Coin, Fiery Warax, but it would take quite some thinking to come up with a reason to come up with a play other than Azot's first mate, Coin Blood Taker on the Buccaneer, Weapon into the Buccaneer, and Patches into Patches. That just seems like the play.
Yeah.
It's the strongest play this
really
turn, and
good.
it curves out really well over the following turn.
And it leaves you a board after the Maelstrom Portal, right? Since the 2-2
Yeah,
will be
you have
up.
the 2-1 Blood Taker.
Exactly, the 2-2 becomes a 2-1 after the Maelstrom, so
Yeah.
you always maintain a totem killer at the very least for the first few turns. Something to contest the 1-drop from the Maelstrom Portal.
Okay, this is the same thing. It's a kind of slightly different attacks, but
Are we going there? He is
he's not
keeping
pointing
his...
the Blood Taker.
Yeah, he wants that upgrade buff.
I mean, one of the things that's happening here is no matter what, he still gets to play the Blood to Icar on 2. If there's a Maelstrom Portal, there's no weapon. If there's no weapon, then unless there's a taunt, I can still handle this minion. So that's probably the reasoning he's using here, but a 1-2 comes out, nothing too crazy.
Oh, that Light Warden can be pretty impactful.
Yeah, it can
There's
actually
the healing
grow.
totem.
Yeah, if 1-1s are on the board, it can become something dangerous, but
And it
there's
looks like
nothing really
Lifecoach's decision to not coin Blood Taker didn't work out well in this scenario. The
bit
main
of
reason
extra
why is
damage.
he didn't get to trade the 1/1 in to the Buccaneer, so the Maelstrom Portal from Camlin got more value. He was killing 2 minions instead of 1.
Yeah, now Lifecoach is, which translated into like 1 more damage, I believe, to Lifecoach in the end. But the Bloodtaker still contests the Light Warden, and he maintains the coin for potential turn 5 drop on turn 4 into 5 drop. There's a lot of 5 drops in that deck, and being able to chain 2 of them at once, given how impactful they can be, is definitely something that he considered in that play.
Another thing he could do with coin is first mate coin Cultist next turn. That way he has a guaranteed Cultist activation. The downside to that is then you have 4 weapon charges in play, plus 2 in hand from the Fiery War Axe. It gets a little bit awkward.
Yeah. That's a lot of pirates and no dragons for the Corruptor. Something's going to have to be done about that, because if the coin was kept in the hopes of getting that Corruptor enabled by turn 4, so far nothing comes to help.
Tricky turn here for Lifecoach.
Yeah, one of those wolves can be disposed of right now with the stuff that you have on the board. Then you can develop the Fire War Axe and a small-time Buccaneer if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the problem with Fire War Axe first is because if you want the weapon charge to be applied to the War Axe, for instance, then you actually get to override it, or you're forced to override it with the N'Zoth's First Mate afterwards. So unless you want to buff the hook, which might be fine and correct, then the War Axe has to be played alongside the, like after N'Zoth's First Mate in that spot.
Alright, so Lifecoach chooses to use the extra War Axe charge here, which makes a lot of sense considering he has so many more weapon attacks potentially available to him in the future. The N'Zoth's First Mate and the upgrade from Cultist.
Now we see the Flame Tongue Totem in Camlan's hand that's giving him a board clear if he wants it and keeps the wolf alive. Overkill with the War Axe afterwards, so some value will be found if he opts for it. You ever go for claws here, but yeah, I feel like you're doom hammering very often on 5, so...
the Doomhammer on 5 kind of makes you not care about losing the Spirit Claws.
Right.
So I think it's reasonable to Spirit Claws instead of Flame Tongue. It's a question of whether you want the Flame Tongue developed or not. When it's developed, it's potentially a liability against something like Kor'kron Elite Blackwing Corruptor, but it's also, you know, extra stuff in play.
Yeah, and if the War Axe smashes itself into the wolf afterwards, that's 4 damage. You're also pushing face, and you're an aggro deck, right? So you do care about getting that damage in while you can.
Yeah, especially with Camlin's hand, that Doomhammer pushes him towards more smorky lines of play instead of always playing for board control.
I like how smorg became a legitimate word. When did that happen?
Not soon enough.
Okay. Oh, man. How's there so many people here? It's 3 a.m. Go home.
No, it's crazy. And there's that Kor'kron Elite.
Yeah. That's got to be better than whatever he had this turn. I mean, his turn looked pretty dry. To be honest, like, attacking this wolf and doing nothing just felt pretty bad. No dragon to enable the Corruptor. Looked like nothing was going to happen. And this Kor'kron Elite is saving the day a little bit. And it also makes Camlan's line of play with the Doomhammer even more awkward to follow through with.
Yeah, because he's probably not going to want to face tank A from the Kor'kron, but leaving the Kor'kron up also inevitably would lead to 8 damage.
Right.
In the long run.
So maybe you just go for Jade Lightning and adapt your playstyle. I mean, you don't expect the Kor'kron is going to live very long when you play it. Usually there's a Lightning Bolt available.
So you got to think the play here for Lifecoach is Weapon into the Spirit Wolf and Kor'kron into the Flame Tongue. Do you guys see any other options that are worth discussing?
I mean, you could just attack with a weapon, develop the Pirate, and play Bloodcell Cultist to get another weapon. That's another line that's very, you know, keeps your Kor'kron for later.
Yeah, but when is Kor'kron better than charging into a Flame Tongue?
Oh, I think just to apply pressure and get a trade up into something.
Okay. He just likes developing these slower minions.
Yeah.
Thinks Camlin won't have a good way to abuse the Flame Tongue being in play, like some kind of charger like South Sea Deckhand, for instance.
I was going to say, one of the big reasons this play is okay is because Argent Horse Rider is not in the metagame anymore, and there isn't really much that's going to charge next to this guy anymore in the deck, right? But just to prove me wrong, off the top comes out the South Sea Deckhand, but I think the play the Lifecoach was going for was pretty reasonable. I like the line.
Yeah, so the first thought is Camlin could just Doomhammer face, putting Lifecoach to 15, and then he has another 6 damage in hand, plus 4 per turn.
Yeah.
So he's 5 damage off of setting up lethal if Lifecoach doesn't even do anything as defensive as armor up. Doesn't seem that great. It might be time to continue playing for board. So you could Spirit Claws the 1/1 that equips a weapon so that you could deckhand the 3/4 cultist. And
Would you Jade Lightning it
armor
instead,
up
or
with
keep that for the face, since that's more valuable? You get to totem, right, in the case of the South Sea deckhand play.
Yeah, and the totem's reasonably appealing here.
I kind of like the totem line of play with the South Sea deckhand you alluded to. I mean, it did seem pretty solid.
But then again, the Jade Lightning is a little bit more clunky, so we want to get it out of the way so we can have the smooth 6-mana play on the following turn with Doomhammer South Sea.
I guess if you make the read, there's no answer to Flame Tongue, and your South Sea is going to get to land next to it on the following turn, you're not losing any damage. But if you're never getting to Flame Tongue that South Sea again, then you've just lost kind of the extra 2 damage it could have gotten you. Whereas the Jade Lightning is always going to be 4.
Yeah. It's definitely reasonable to assume from Camlan's side that this Flame Tongue could be safe on the board like this. After all, if Lifecoach had the option of clearing the Flame Tongue totem last turn, he could have done it last turn, right?
Yeah, he could have coined out the Blackwing Corruptor, could have played Kor'kron Elite, Alex draws his champion, and he didn't. So you're making a read. I don't know if Lifecoach intended to mind games Camlan into that play, because that was kind of interesting. Just assuming the Flame Tongue was going to be safe. Not even accounting for South Sea, of course, but not protecting it.
All right, so Doomhammer, deckhand 6 to the face is a play. You don't have any follow-up burns, just 4 damage per turn, and the opponent's at 12. Seems a ways off from lethal. Probably not the way to do it. You probably want to deal with that Kor'kron somehow. If you hero power, you're 25% to roll Wrath of Air Totem and clear Kor'kron that way. If you brick on the 25%, the rest of the time you can use deckhand in your face to clear the Kor'kron while developing a Totem Golem.
I mean, the health total of Lifecoach as well is getting, low enough that Camlan at some point will have a good excuse to go full face, and he has 2 Rockbiter weapons in his deck. So anytime that shows up, that's a plus 10 damage that he can add to the, plus 6 damage that is, to the Doomhammer's initial damage. So that's a lot of burst potentially coming from Camlan. He's gonna go right away with the Doomhammer. Might go for the hybrid play. You hit the Kor'kron once.
Nah, that's
all right,
more.
Let's go.
He's committing.
Let's do it.
Yeah, he's got to put on the aggression. Doomhammer is very inefficient at running into minions. You eventually just involuntarily swing the game back in your opponent's favor by just taking too much damage for the value.
Well, I guess the Ghoul armor. I think you're armoring up as much as you can in that spot, because you see the Doomhammer come in face. There might be a Rockbiter. That Totem Golem may be the Rockbiter that you're dreading to see.
All right, so Ravaging Ghoul coming out to clear out the deckhand. Armor up, 5 to the face. Probably not worth pointing out anything. Like, the War Axe would be coming down too soon. You kind of run out of weapon charges before you kill your opponent.
I mean, you are pitching 9. Oh, goodness. That could be the Shapeshift. That could be the Steady Shot.
There's some good ones. Yeah, Shapeshift is the best when you have Doomhammer equipped, because the +1 attack value gets applied twice. So it's like a Steady Shot that gains a life.
Yeah.
And can also impact the board instead of only going face.
Goodness gracious. There are a lot of good outcomes, but
those
these
are
are
not
the ones. They're all the worst possible things. Reinforce is marginally better than the rest, but not by much.
No, I think
Armor Up is
Armor
actually...
Up might be the best.
Yeah, Armor Up. Right now, Camlan is in the racing position, so Armor Up helps him with that as well.
Oh, man, this must feel horrible. Fire Blast, Steady Shot. You had the Shapeshift. Those 3 were pretty good.
Yeah, it's close between Reinforce and Armor Up.
Yeah, I mean, Reinforce does make Lifecoach consider trading on the board when he would want to go face, right? And it plays a little bit better with Flame Tongue if you pick up your second one, but I think Armor Up for the race scenario is a tiny bit more advantageous.
He could face tank this Kor'kron Elite to try and protect his Totem Golem.
I really like that, actually.
The Totem Golem still dies to Ravaging Ghoul plus Lifecoach's face, but then at least you got some face damage and you cleared some stuff, which buys quite a bit of time to draw a burn and use Doomhammer charges and such.
But now, ooh, Reckoning Crusher.
Is the race on?
Yeah, so Ravaging Ghoul can go face, turning this Draconiid Crusher into a 9/9.
Do you ever just
point Armor Up with that?
Corruptor and try to make a board trade? Because, I mean, you are setting up 8 damage on board, right, by making that play, so... I think it's actually closer than it seems, but...
Yeah, it's currently the Corruptor... Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going... Wait, is it actually going to be able to... Well, not right now.
I mean, the issue with...
To force lethal, right?
I don't think the Crusher can't force lethal.
Actually, it can.
It's just, you'd have to get...
If both go face here, like if the weapon and the Ghoul go face. just completely disregarding Camlan's board.
You would still have to fetch a dragon off the top to enable the Corruptor and the weapon in order to finish off the job. Otherwise, I mean, you could always go crazy and Draconic Crusher, like go full phase, Draconic Crusher, coin War Axe, and swing for 3. Would that be enough? I mean, you are setting up to 12, and then you have the War Axe and the Crusher, but...
Oh, he's doing it.
He's not going to go for the War Axe play. I mean, that would leave you vulnerable to Lightning Bolt on top of Jade Lightning and everything else.
Yeah, now it's got to be Lava Burst.
Yeah.
This plays around Flame Tongue, for instance.
All right, there we are. What's the draw for Camlan? Bolt is not going to be it.
He played around that by coining out the armor, right?
Exactly. He had the choice of going for the Fiery and setting up 2-turn lethal with just the 9/9 and the weapon charge, but chose not to do so.
And again, Bolt disposes of the Ghoul, and on board, Camlan would still survive.
But there could be a dragon off the top for Lifecoach to finish up the job. And there's a lot of those dragons in the deck. He hasn't played anything aside from Crusher and hasn't found a single one of them since the start of the game.
Lifecoach needs 1 damage somehow, some way.
Some dragon, some...
Alex Straw's Champion's not enabled. Kor'kron Elite would do it. There's no upgrade. That's the draw that decides the game for Lifecoach. And the series, mind you. His tournament life is right there.
Into Gore Howl.
Goodness gracious.
Malkorok into Doomhammer. Malkorok into...
Can we do it? Can he do it?
That's not it.
But he could live, though. He could live a turn, I believe.
So he goes up to 7. He Ravaging Ghouls and trades into the Totem Golem. He's taking 5. He would die to 2.
He can kill the Finley with his weapon and kill the... I mean, he could just ignore the Finley unless Flame Tongue is a problem, which it is, actually. So
killing the Finley plays around Flame Tongue, but it's a little bit further from setting up lethal.
You are setting up lethal anyway, because you have Ghoul and the 9/9 on board.
Yeah,
so
it's just less of a guaranteed lethal. Yeah, it's worth it to play around the Flame Tongue.
I think playing around every single out at this point is the play that Lifecoach has to opt for, and...
Yeah, the aggression is strong enough that you should just minimize the chance of getting killed by Camlan's top deck.
Not the lethal that Lifecoach was looking for, but it certainly is giving him another turn. Camlan with the double Lava Burst in deck has another Lightning Bolt, 2 Rockbiter weapons, many weapons that could whiff completely. I mean, double Jade Claws, another Spirit Claws, another Doomhammer do nothing to help him in that spot.
Oh, he's leaving the Finley up. Now he dies to a Flame Tongue. Have both Flame Tongues been played this game?
No, only one of them has been, and the Rockbiter would nullify that possibility anyway, and Camlan is going to take it over Lifecoach in this series. The nemesis of Lifecoach has been Camlan throughout the entire of the top 16. It took him down twice. He climbed back up from the losers match, but still ended up being roadblocked by Camlan, who's going to move on to top 8.
And the crowd is going nuts here, still at 3 a.m. going crazy as hell.
The more advanced in the night you are, usually the crazier they get.
Yeah, they've been drinking.
Yeah.
So that's how you beat Dragon Warrior, apparently. Doomhammer, 7 of the 8 charges, I believe, went face. 1 went into a Kor'kron Elite. Does that sound right to you guys?
That's a very tense series, though. I mean, that was... Every single win seemed like it came down to the wire.
Yeah.
At the very end there.
The series was like probably the most long and drawn-out series I've seen this tournament, especially with the connection problems. And that also counts, right?
All right, let's get a winner interview here.
All right, Camlan, come on, sit on the couch.
Join us.
Get over here.
All right. All right, so it's getting pretty late here, so I imagine you're probably willing to just go sleep at this point. Connection issues made this a bit longer, but congratulations on winning against Lifecoach for the 2nd time. This is the 2nd time you beat him. You might want to take the headset since we don't hear you very well on stream. So I just wanted to know, as far as the matchups went, your Warrior seems to have been doing a ton of work against Lifecoach's lineup the first time. You know, went 2 wins, and the same thing happened in this case. Then his Dragon Warrior almost won. When it came down to the Shaman, did you think you had the edge against the Warrior deck, or did you think he was better positioned to win against you?
Actually, I'm not too sure because he's running a pretty good Shaman. Yeah, it's late.
Sure, go ahead. Warrior.
I wasn't sure, but it doesn't matter because I have to play against it anyhow. Right?
Yeah.
So,
right in the last hero standing anyway.
I didn't care about it. Just played. So.
Okay. So do you think, like, overall you win the entire thing, but do you think your lineup is favored or disfavored against his? Going into the series blind.
It depends on the first match, kinda. I got him in the first match again, I feel like it was exactly the one I wanted to play. I also thought about queuing Rogue because I thought he'll open with Priest. And then it's just, as you said, the Warrior is doing a hell of work here. Yeah. And it depends if I can win against the Shaman, basically.
Okay, so it comes down to the Shaman matchup.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, any other questions, guys, before we let him go sleep? And we also go to bed.
Well, congratulations on a big win. I'm looking forward to watching the top 8 tomorrow.
Thanks. Yeah.
No questions from me. Let's just all go to sleep.
Let's all go to bed. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy keeping us up. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with the top 8. We're down to 8 players. We'll have the brackets up on stream, maybe, if production is kind. Yes, Show Ecop, C4mlan, Torque, Orange, Amaz, and Super JJ will be moving on from the entire pool of 32 players that we had initially. We'll be meeting you guys at GMT +1, so that's going to be at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. GMT +1. And the first match we'll have for you guys is going to be Amaz versus Super JJ. So make sure to tune in. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night, guys. Have a nice one. And thanks for watching today.